You know it's this. Take a perk and talk it and see. Money swollen like sis. They done perfected the kid. Got a billion who take on my hate. I've been better put on the road I just spent. I've been working $1 million. The devil, they shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to Manga Muse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 5th part of What If Naruto Enters Hell of a Boss. Special note, this fanfic is written in the masterpiece of Bones Boy 15 on fanfiction.net. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. As the two hellhounds walked out of the underground facility, a lone camera in the far corner blinked with a red light. It followed their exit and watched the portal close before it died with the rest of its brethren. The signal cut, but the footage had been captured and watched. There was no sound, but sound was not needed by the observer. An ancient figure, with long white hair that brushed over the ground and skin that sagged over the eyes. The ancient figure stared at the screen and slowly smiled. The smile grew wide, and the wrinkled features smoothed. A light emerged in the eyes of the watcher as the wrinkled elderly once more became young. At last. I finally found you. After all these years, I can't wait to see you again. The smile split the face wide as one eye shone and focused on the fox fiend within. Long dark locks were brushed back as dark, feathered wings flung open. It's been too long, Naruto. Wind spiraled. Birds chirped. Sasuke, Naruto. Collision. Light blinded. He washed up onto the bank, coughed out globs of water and BLD. His head hurt so much. What? Something rubbed against his leg. A body, blonde, tan, whiskered. There's a hole in his chest. It came back to him in a rush. They were fighting. He needed to leave, to get stronger than him. The corpse disagreed. They rarely saw eye to begin with. It was an idiot with a loud mouth and a stubborn drive. Power like nothing he'd seen before rested beneath the surface of the fool, a feeling so vile it made him sick on principle. Rain fell. Realization. He won. No more arguments over lunch or which food was better. He won. No more bickering or childish pranks. He won. No more put-downs or surprises. He won. No more promises to be broken or threats exchanged. The idiot lost, for the last time. Because he won. It was cold. He rested for a moment. Let it sink in what he'd done it before, but never a fry fellow leaf nin just to be stronger than him. It was worth it. It had to be worth it. The ground shifted. A giant plant sprouted and pushed himself up. It split to reveal a monochromatic man. One eye narrowed as half its face grinned. What the F did you do? Pain followed. Endless. Constant. He begged for death at one point. Denied. Cried for his mother. Denied. His father. Denied. His brother. He came. Then so too did Kakashi-sensei. The fight that ensued was mythical. The ground reshaped. The sky roared. The idiot's corpse was lost in the chaos. His brother was dead. His sensei was dead. Sakura was dead. The lady that became Hokage was dead. Orochimaru was dead. Wait, no. Orochimaru came back from his shoulder, then was dead again. Everyone was dead, but not him. He was not the victor, either. The wicked tongue claimed that role. With the body of his brother's corpse, it taunted him with the tale of how it manipulated the clan, manipulated his village, and manipulated his ancestors. Until the body withered away and died for good. It latched onto him. Torment lasted instances and lifespans. When the end came, he was relieved. He was free. Free of the chains of hatred, free of the shackles of guilt, and free of the despair knowledge brought him. Blissful, silent peace. Then it wasn't. No, you are not free. Bright, otherworldly, unmeasurable, benevolent and stern. It he, they, yes, was absolute authority and unthinkable kindness. I am I who. Your sins are too great for your afterlife, but you wish to repent, so there is hope. Repent then, child. Join my choir and repent. If only he wasn't such a rebellious soul, maybe he wouldn't have been so quick to throw his lot in with Lucifer. 3 days had passed since the SHT show that was the demon deal she had with her ex. 2.5 days passed since she last got to enjoy the presence of her newest, albeit temporary, member of security. She spent all of one day in lockup. The rest was spent cashing bribes and rewriting memories. Let the record show that there was no fish mutated by spilt Beelzejuice into a monster. It was just a shark. The partygoers were just really, really stupid and drunk. Given most of the attendees were high schoolers or college students, the story was bought by human masses without issue. All in all, it was a tiring past 3 days, and not at all enjoyable. Verisica groaned in relief as she walked into her office from the elevator. Her newly obtained parking space, a fluffy elephant convinced the imp with access to the spaces to give it up to her, was about 10 feet further than she really wanted to walk. She took the iced tea that Milky handed out to her along with the offered embrace. She gulped down the drink and collapsed in a chair just past the door. The sooner she moved directly into this shithole, the better. F&A, that's exactly what I needed. She sighed once the cup was drained. She looked over her crew and arched a brow. Most, if not all, of her PP were missing. Are Josh and Ace still in lockup? No, they got out last night, Kiki said, going over some legal documents. They put in for time off up top. Josh said about seeing the city. That sly little TWKFer? Verisica huffed around a smirk. She knew Josh and Ace were closer to each other despite being proud members of the Pan Pals Club, and knew they were dating on the side. But if Josh pulled to get time away after the clusterfuck that her old label called her Spring Broken Tour, it was probably going to get more serious than that. Where's our sexy beef shields? Got called to bees. Coco sighed as she cuddled with Apple at their desk. Guess the fuzzy freelancer went back to her other job with your ex. Saw her and the little snack come in this morning. And? Verisica sat up straighter. Anything she could learn about the girlfriend that was clam jamming her quest for the version demon PP was good intel. Were their clothes ruffled? Was the little beach glowing? No and no. Heavy lip lock outside of the elevator though. Apple sighed and opened her phone when it vibrated. She sat up with wide eyes. V? What are the chances we'll absolutely need B's little brother the rest of this week? Given how swamped we are with legal fees from Ozzy's legal crew, probably not much. Well, not outside of morale requirements, she admitted and nibbled her lip, thinking about the fuzzily firm delight that was the version demon's butt. A foreboding shiver suddenly went down her spine. Why? Because Tex is on his way back and he says that the Foxy boy isn't coming. Oh, F you, B, Verisica groaned. That was part of the whole F reason she even got out of bed today. She slumped in her seat when her phone moaned. Sure enough, same text from Tex. Another Eminem followed by an unknown number had her perk up. Hey, it's Naruto. B gave me the number. Again, sorry about the kicking thing. Something came up at home, might be out for a bit. Vortex has details. That's fine, and don't sweat it. Sorry I came on too strong. Hope everything's okay. Verisica sent her text back, grinning as she saved the contact information. She just got the little hunk's number and didn't even have to work for it. That would make seducing him a whole lot easier. Girls? The succubi looked up at her question. Who here wants to help me duck a fox? You know we all want to help with that. Kiki smirked. She leaned forward on a propped-up fist. What's your plan this time? Jump him in a car. I was thinking some text flirts, rile him up with a few spicy modeling pics. She grinned as her crew tittered. Maybe send him a cooch pic or two. That sounds so fun. Does this mean a shopping trip? Apple beamed. Sure, why not? She could always write it off as a business expense. Oh, and the look on that beach's face when she got busted. Ah, I wish I had a photo to show you, Looney. You'd love it. Sure, Blitzo. Luna drawled as she turned the page in her magazine. It had been 3 days since she got snagged by some shady spooks for putting some Dichi human in his place. The imps had no clue she'd even gone missing, which was a blessing all on its own. Mostly because Blitzo's blissful ignorance was a grace she hadn't truly appreciated until after it turned out she had minor vertigo from those DMN sound attacks. She played that off like a bad hangover. Ironically, that was before Luna knew that the fatty got himself shit-faced and fought against some giant mutant fish that attacked the concert. Millie retold that story despite being confused about being asked for it. Due to the clone disguised as Luna that was present and obviously exaggerated Fatty's role in it, since he kept getting sick whenever it was brought up whether or not he had alcohol poisoning wasn't Luna's concern. When pressed for details about the mutant fish attack, her boyfriend admitted he blocked clone memories out when they were delivered in clusters. She didn't fully understand what that meant, but she got the gist. The fact he was cuddling with her during her checkup with Mayday's on-site sloth medical emergency Ginklixt might have helped him save his own cute butt from the proverbial doghouse for that little tidbit. Right now, she was ignoring Blitzo's borderline oral MSTRBTN over his win over his famous ex and flipping through an older issue of Howlers. Specifically, she was rereading sections of relationship advice and experiences the rich and famous had to offer. What? It wasn't like she was going to ask Blitzo about relationships. Why? 3 good reasons. A. He didn't tell her anything worthwhile about his own DMN past. That is, dating Verisica, wants to her boyfriend Mayday. B. His own track record that she did know about was so up it was horrifying. And C. He didn't even want to entertain the idea that Luna might be happier, maybe even DMN near more tolerant of his SHT in a relationship. Let the record show that she was both of those things currently, even if their relationship was new and kind of secret to everyone on her side of things. Blitzakov. Sure, it was only 2 days since she confirmed they were official to the doofus, but it wasn't like Naruto had assumed as such. If anything, he'd seemed totally surprised by it, like he expected Luna to bail on him or some SHT. For the life of her, she couldn't figure out why. He wasn't smothering her with alpha Neanderthal presence or bombing her phone-thirsty SHT, unlike a certain royal prince that had a quid pro quo with her adoptive father. Luna knew way too much about the Gosha prince. He didn't demand things of her that were unreasonable, and he rarely bothered her with his stupidity. Weird but supposed ninja backstory aside, he was pretty upfront with what he wanted. For the most part, the scents he let off that her nose picked up were starting to get under her skin. That was without the bouts of heat she'd get whenever they booped, or kissed, or cuddled. Don't even get her started on the heavy petting sessions. They've only had 2, the first that led to the confirmation of their relationship, and one just the day before while Blitzo was on a coffee run apparently. He got sidetracked or something, and she was so frustrated she eventually joined her boyfriend where he was lazing about while his client was dealing with the legal issues that had been accrued up top. He was especially doting during that session anyway. Hellhounds had a lot of drawbacks and weaknesses compared to other Hellborn, but there was no way in here that she would ever want to give up her boyfriend's heavy petting method. His claws managed to catch her in all the right places. I need to find some of his spots before he has my body mapped out. Hello. What? Luna thought, arching a brow as she came across about an actual instance of near oral asphyxiation in the small letter called snapped my collar. Picked me up and turned me over. He excavated every ounce of lubricant from my sopping cont. Her ears started to burn and claws lightly traced over her own collar as her imagination ran wild. Had to stop for air several times. My jaw started to ache. She'd felt her boyfriend's excitement before, even if neither of them ever brought it up, and it was woof. It would definitely be able to snap her collar. So hot and tasted like the rawest form of him. Would Naruto's taste like violets or that sweet, almost coconut flavor? Did she just lick her chops? Did Blitzo notice? The married morons. Would she be able to sneak off to the bathroom and rub one out during her break? These were the important questions running through her mind. The office phone's ring startled her from her increasingly not safe for work thoughts. A quick scan of the room showed her that the married morons and the idiot that adopted her were now in the midst of an argument about fish. Whatever. She rolled her eyes as she tucked her magazine into the desk and then answered the phone. The do you want? Is this both of you? Shut the up. I'm on the phone. Is this the immediate murder professionals? A bassy snarl asked, after shouting at 2 faint voices. You managed to dial the number. Grats. Luna drawled. She pulled her phone out to check her Voxtagram. Did you need someone dead? I actually wanted to speak with a Luna Buxo. Kind of lame butt name is Buxo. Can't be worse than our last name, bro. We don't have a last name, dipshit. My point. Dude. What part of on the phone do you 2 morons need spelled out? The bassy stranger snarled at the 2 strangers. May I speak with her? This guy wanted to speak with her. Why? Did you want someone dead? She asked again, eyes narrowed. Given the sound of your voice and the growl in it, I take it this is her. I'm going to hang up now. Find some other assassins. Before you do, can you describe the humans that abducted you on F? Where's the calendar? On Monday? Luna felt her heart stop for a half-second before she snarled. Her hackles rose as she glared at what she imagined the unseen speaker to look like. Some fugly pug or similar, probably. Maybe a fallen watcher. Who the F are you? Unimportant. I very much disagree with that load of horse SHT, Luna barked. The sound attracted Blitzo's attention. He gasped and charged at her, diving for the phone. She pulled it out of the way. She was handling this creep herself. When he reached for it again, she snapped at him. Looney, no, bad Luna, don't yell at customers. It's a solicitor, she snarled at him. Oh, as you were, baby, so proud of you. She rolled her eyes and growled at him when he managed to sneak a hug on her. After she shoved him off, she picked up on the background voices. Oh, another free spirit. Guess you called that one, Russ. He's grown into the FTSH. Dude, can we not talk about Lil Brudda that way? Makes me feel not kosher. Do you even know what that means? Duh. That's not a answer. Why the do you two insist on talking? Base Beach growled. Look, Buxo. Don't you surname me, Mothaf? Apologies. Luna, I work on behalf of the greater. Let's call it good for hell. But you can't tell me your name. She's got you there, bro. Russ, shut the up. She made note of that name. Russ sounded familiar. Both of you, shut the up, Luna. I do my best work out of the public eye, and your phone is very compromised due to a certain bird. God, damn it. Luna growled into her claws before she glared at her adopted father, who was poorly trying to eavesdrop. She snarled at him and swiped, causing him to retreat back to his office once more, before she turned her attention back to the call. Look, I'm not telling you anything. I don't actually give a flying who you are or what you want. Do not call here again if you don't have any business. What if I needed to get a hold of Naruto? He could be talking about anyone, Luna tried to convince herself. Her claws dug into her desk and her lips curled higher on her muzzle. Who the is? Oh yes, you know exactly who I'm talking about. It's a bluff, it's a bluff, it's a bluff. What if either Elzebub had a bounty to be cashed and I offered you an in? What if the hierarchy of hell needed to be shaken up by knocking them down a few pegs? What if I was going to publish a saucy story about the family and offered to buy you off for support? What if this was a mortician asking if you were next of kin? Would you give a flying then? Luna's ears went flat again and her tail curled at her leg. That was she didn't have words to say. Wah, who the are why? Cut the SHT, pup. We know you and the runt are sniffing around each other's tails. This they had how? Just how? Was this some up kind of royal guard? A secret service employed to protect sins and members of their houses. Luna felt her ears flatten against her head and her knees shook. The what the what the Fire burned through her veins the more his questions cycled. Who gave a flying SHT? I'll ask again. Save it, Mothaf. Don't ever call here again, and for the record, I don't owe you jack SHT. Luna slammed the phone down. She growled and snarled and huffed, glaring at the phone and daring it to. She picked it up before the first ring finished. I said, Congrats, you pass. The call ended with a click. Luna glared at the phone and slammed down the receiver again. Shaky claws dug into her desk and she sought out her pack of Sly Bunny smokes. So, who was? Fatty started to ask as he, Millie and Blitzo poked their heads out of the last's office. I'm going on my break. Luna growled at the imps, finding her cigarettes and grabbing her phone. She stormed to the door and stopped. She took a quick breath and then stared at the door. Blyog Dad, I'm taking a half day. Might not be home later. Okay, Looney. Sir? At least manipulating the little BSTRD was a little easier. If she'd known calling him Dad would make him putty, she may have started doing so early. No, that. Given that she'd actually lightened up since she was adopted, that wasn't happening. She ignored the new argument she caused and stormed out of the office building, with a cigarette in her mouth. She pulled her lighter out and lit the cigarette the second she got outside. Once it was lit, she sat down on the sidewalk across from Blitzo's imp van and pulled her phone out. Luna took a drag of her cigarette as a contact was speed dialed. 2 rings went by before it was picked up. By the sin of gluttony. Luna, hey, cutie Tilda. How's it goy? I will bite you. Don't test me, baby bro. B, what the SHT? Give me back my F phone. You can have it back in a effin' second. Beelzebub snapped with a deep snarl before she went bubbly again. How's it going, pretty pup? Hi, B. Luna sighed tiredly, smoke clouding around her. She'd seen the posts the queen bee made with her boyfriend's picture of Luna in her human disguise eating funnel cake. Apparently, with that photographic evidence, she'd become the sin of gluttony's new favorite person, which cool. Maybe 10 years ago, she'd be more excited about it. 5 years ago, she might have died from bisexual bliss. Now, it was just kind of tiring. Especially since the one she wanted to speak to was the one she stole the phone from. You sound stressed, you alright? Can I talk to Naruto? She let her tail curl around her feet and hugged her knees while she pinched her phone between her head and her shoulder. She took another drag and shuddered a sigh. Please? What the F did you do? I don't know, and I won't know until you give me my F phone back. There was a growl from the sin before a jostle on the receiver told her that it had been given back. Rotting zombie Christ. B. Stop taking my SHT. You klepto. Oh, what's up, Luna? Nothing, just got wigged out. She adjusted her phone and hugged her legs tighter. She inhaled another drag and then pushed the palm of her hand to her head. Ugh, it's F stupid. You're calling me about it. Doesn't sound stupid. I'm working on it. B. Back the F off, he growled in a hushed voice. It never ceases to amaze Luna how he got away with giving the sin of gluttony lip. His pretty sexy but not her favorite growl tapered out as he focused on the call again. What happened? He lowered his voice. Did you have another nightmare? Ugh. F. The nightmares. She had F nightmares from the human's weak excuse of torturing her. She hadn't had actual F nightmares since she was a literal pup in the Gotham orphanage. This trauma was such horseshit. The last time it happened, Naruto popped over to hold her through the night and then popped out just as Blitzo knocked on her door. Major upside to having a duke for a boyfriend. He had a house seal that traversed rings with ease and could get her wherever or join her wherever she wanted like that. Downside, she couldn't exploit it as much as she wanted to because of her F stationary job. No, thank F. She growled and stuck her cigarette in her mouth to move her phone. I just some F creep called imp asking about what happened. At the beach? To me. Did you tell anyone what happened to you? There was a hiss and Naruto growled. Ask her yourself. No, not now. Other than you and the Smeg? No. Luna tapped her foot on the hot blacktop and shifted where she sat. Naruto F. He F knew we're dating. The line went quiet and something muffled the other end. Her fur bristled and her spine tingled as she heard a very faint version of her favorite sound her boyfriend was capable of. You get a name? He sounded so F serious. Luna wouldn't lie, she was a little touched and her baser instincts felt better safer from the sound of his voice. That was a F male that was ready to kill at her behest. MF powering. No. Wait, not true. Wait, SHT, yes, it wasn't the butt's name, but someone talking in the background. And it sounded like Russ, and then the creep kept telling him and someone else to shut up. That lousy, meddling moth-aff. There was a crash and angry honking. She wasn't expecting him to get so upset that he broke something. An angry bee cried out, "Party foul," which was followed by hushed bickering before Naruto spoke again. Luna F. Luna, I'm sorry. That's my fault. SHT, I'm so sorry. That was the butt I asked to help me get you got him it. I should have F known he'd pull something like this after all the bullshit questions he asked me. FBSTRD. Do I need to be worried? Luna frowned. No, I'll get it sorted out. I just F. I'm sorry he did that to you. Her boyfriend sounded pissed. It was wrong that Luna was kind of aroused from it being on her behalf, right? Right, she thought so, too. It's not like you knew he would, she pointed out. Her eyes narrowed. Did you? No, F no. Believe me, Luna, I do not like scaring people like that. That's not. I'm a prankster at heart, not a psychopath, you know. I know. She felt her lips pull into a small smile. He'd told her what his and B's plans for the day were after the Sin asked him to come home and help her. She watched the tip of her tail wag, despite its place wrapped around her legs. She shifted again. Her skin itches and the hot prideful air felt a little cold. Ugh, she really wanted him with her, right now. Don't sound desperate. Don't sound desperate. You aren't going to be gone long today, right? Damn it, Luna, you had one job. Do you need me? I can be there in B. You've handled this for centuries without me, you know well. Maybe if you try to interact with people outside of your F parties, get off. God F damn it. Give me back, Erug. Shush up, baby bro, I'm on the phone. Hey, pretty pup. You want to come see how the best House of G's handle our duties? Well, Luna would be lying if she said no. What Sins do, outside of their infamous glamorous lifestyles, parties and pursuits, was kept under tight lock and key. Not to mention she'd be able to get the hug she wants to deny she wants, the boop she openly wants, maybe even the heavy petting she secretly wants. She could get another collar somewhere, right? Don't pressure her into. I'm not pressuring her to all of the locations on the list, even the one in Lust. B was cackling at the come on, pretty pup, it's a gas. You'll love this. Say yes. Sure. IG? Done deal. Don't move, pretty pup. I've got a lock on you. What? And for my next bitchin' trick. Ta-da! One pretty pup for the bristling baby bro. The queen bee grinned as she used some special magic to pluck her new favorite pretty pup off of the sidewalk outside of her workspace and dropped her into her baby bro's lap. Both kiddos yelped, even as her baby bro quickly adjusted himself to cushion the pretty pup's fall, and Bee hung her brother's phone up before she tossed it at him. It bounced off of his snout and she laughed at his snarl. Served him right for breaking her limo's window. F.O. B. F.O. He growled at her before he adjusted the pretty pup in his lap. He sent it her not a vibe check, so not a party foul. Also stupid cute, and Bee loved their vibes and pulled her close. You alright, Luna? Why yeah, she yelped again and flicked a half-gone butt of a cigarette off of her tail. Bee didn't even follow it with her eyes and hit it with a small scoop of honey to douse it. Her baby bro's pretty pup's ears folded. SHT. Sorry, B. PFFT, not the first fire this party bus had to put out, so it's whatever. Now then, B clapped her four hands together and grinned at the two. Which of you wants to tell me what the actual that call was all about? You play dirty, B. Baby bro glared at her before he rubbed his snoot and nodded. Oh, respect. Watch the nose. Pretty pup grumbled as she took baby bro's face and what's with the oh? Oh, wow, effin' wow, unholy SHT. That was at least one of her small gatherings worth of good vibes, and all they did was touch nose tips. B needed to try that with Texug. Her teeth were going to rot and fall out. Baby bro was purring. Gah, this was so cute. The denizens of hell needed to be told. She needed to brag. She'd just have to get answers afterwards. One free hand, one not holding her head up as she cooed so loud it went to a higher, nearly imperceivable pitch, pulled her hellphone out and snapped a picture. Then it and her other free hands posted it on Sin's Voxtagram. B needed to pay that ego-inflated screen face a visit someday. Messing with her followers was one thing. Messing with her expansive source of social media, that just pissed her off on principle. The hellphone vibrated. Golden and red eyes glanced at it. Another post on Since the Haver by B. He didn't care. He was busy. One more twist. Yes, it's perfect, it's vile, it's brilliant. He turned and brandished the marvelous creation to the rest of his recently developed hobby. It is done, the Quackster Mark V, able to speak and write in not just duck, but 873 dialects of knowable language. With this, I will make them rue the day. Your da matter quacked souls squeakums, the duck said, before it exploded. The king of hell, demonic prince of pride, Lucifer Morningstar pursed his lips at his third prototype failure this month. He glared at the remnants of the duck and let it be eradicated. Okay, so, what went wrong there? Maybe I need to reduce the amount of non-hellish speak, he mused before he shook his head. No, I didn't put too much in, the duck just couldn't handle it. That's why it F left in a blaze of failure. Yeah, obviously. Maybe I should make a duck for Charlie? Does she even like ducks? Of course she does. She's my little girl, and she loves razzle and dazzle, and I made them perfectly for her. With help. Who dares intrude upon my F-dame? Lucifer whirled around, staff in hand, and brandished to strike. His eyes blazed and then fizzled out. Oh, it's just you. Morningstar. The black-winged intruder bowed at the waist. He righted himself and the wings closed around him, folding into a black three-piece suit that would be expected of a wealthy individual such as, for coincidental example, a circus director. His almost feathered black hair was slicked back, reminiscent of a bird of prey, such as the ironically named bald eagle. His eyes were gold and red, like Morningstar's, but within the red were small dancing kaleidoscopes that shifted as he scanned the room. Once his eyes met Lucifer's again, he nodded. I like what you've done with the place. Very independent. Don't patronize me, Regal. Lucifer spat the name of his brother in disgust. The glare he got for using the dead name was nothing short of vitriolic. He lowered his staff and spun it between his never-idle fingers. The F do you want? There is a member among your subjects I wish to meet. Look, I don't have anything against gay men, but I don't F with them, you know, Lucifer shrugged. You're asking the wrong sin for help fulfilling your lustful desires. Oh, hey, he just saw Dad. And did it feel like he was back up high? What? Oh, this was one of those F illusions again. Lucifer snapped out his wings and the day of his fall melted away. He glared with every eye at the perpetrator that made him see it again, and was met with a flat stare. Yes, a PP joke that also mocked my sexuality. Ha ha. Funny. Regal crossed his arms. Will you grant me an audience with this soul or not? The F should I do that, foe? How is little Charlie? You dare? Lucifer sneered and allowed himself to shift into his true form. He rose up with his flaming crown fully unveiled and flew into impassive eyes. Don't you ever say her name again, you F charity case? Why? It's just a name. What am I to call her when we meet? Never F happening. I cannot meet my niece? Is that just me specifically, or have all of our siblings been granted this treatment? You were never a sibling of mine, Lucifer snarled, his staff of hell brandished at the fallen across from him. The other angel arched an unimpressed brow. First to fall, my glorious golden butt. The only reason Lilith and I got punished so F leniently is because you F ratted us out before we could even really get started. For the last time, Morningstar, I did not betray you. He already knew what you were planning. He knew you would make a play for his throne since the dawn of your inception. 10,000 years and you still spew that SHT at me. Because it is the truth. He leaned forward, crimson kaleidoscope eyes spun slowly in their sockets. And as we both know very well, the truth hurts. Lucifer snarled and roared before he recomposed himself. His manner and domain could only handle his true fury for brief instances. He dropped his cane in front of him and glared hateful red eyes at the taller fallen. I refuse your request, dear brother. He bared his sharp teeth in a wicked grin. Get the F out of my kingdom, and whatever F sinner you want to meet, F forget about it. Never F happening. I will find this soul and eradicate it from hell before I allow you to F meet them. Very well. I wish to do this in an amicable way, but without Lilith's temperament, I can see you'll continue to be a child about this. Oh, yeah, I'm a child. Lucifer sneered, as if bringing up his and Lilith's temporary separation wasn't the epitome of being F childishly petty. F you, Sasuke. My name is Sasuke. Whatever, Sasuke. Just F leave. Very well. Sasuke Uchiha allowed two of his wings to spread once more and flew into the ceiling into a portal in the ceiling. Lucifer glared up at it until it was gone, and even for some time after. He kept glaring at it before his phone vibrated and he whirled on it. What the F does she keep posting, Ab? Lucifer shut his mouth with a click as he looked at the Voxtagram he had to F gut Mammon for selling the 1F app they all had a stake in post. His right eye twitched as he saw several messages she'd tried to DM him with. She's mocking me. There's no way that walking, barking, little Rugrat has a cuter relationship than my Char Char. Queen Biatch, behold. The hottest new power couple, my adorable baby bro and his cute pretty pup. A picture displayed the little mongrel that Lucifer tolerated on the worst of days and maybe found amusing on the best, cuddling with an admittedly cute little hellhound and their noses pressed together. He didn't expect the kid to go for that, given that succubi were a thing that existed. Although, he didn't either, since he had Lil Wow, over 3 million views, and it's only been 3 minutes. Some of these sinners needed lives. Might as well see what everyone had to say about the post. His eyes bulged at the top, starred comment. WH Charlie, what the F? Magnus Darkhild 666 yes. This the ought be. Ah, I'm so happy. Hotel Magnament Charlie, stop squealing. I can hear you from the first floor. You're supposed to be fixing the bathroom in 223. Who the F is Hotel Magnament? I don't get it. He frowned. Couldn't admit that, though. Might as well see the other responses. Lordioff Lust F. That is so disgusting. I need them to come to my club so I can educate them on proper public displays of lust. Queen Biatch make a detour. Way to be subtle, dumbass. Lucifer snorted and plopped a squat on an apple-themed chair. The sin of lust was absolute SHT at managing the difference between love and lust. Admittedly, the Sinma's card with his cyborg partner was cute, but that's the only praise Lucifer would give it. Shredded Satin squints, stares, smash. Satan, just, what the F does that even mean? He would never understand his right hand muscle's sheer weirdness. Whomst belittles, so that's what the charge to your house account went to. Speaking of, when's the next time you'll be in for a checkup, Queen Biatch? Did that yeast issue get resolved with my powder mix? Gonna ignore that. Lucifer deadpanned. The implications of that were too horrifying for him to think about. Greed is good. This post violates terms and services. A strike has been added to the account. F. Get it, he smirked. He had that added specifically to Voxdex terms and services to F with Mammon after one too many comments on Lilith's vacation. Being jealous. Are they kissing? This angle sucks. He's such a weirdo, kissing a F hellhound. Yeah, okay, I should have expected that from Levy. Lucifer hummed and entered the comments. If the rest of the sins had commented, and his daughter had commented, he needed to comment. Not just that, he needed to say something that was absolutely perfect. Something that would have the rest of hell in awe of his wit, suave communication skills, and his overall demonic charm. His eyes widened and he grinned. This is perfect. It was a quiet day in the Happy Hotel. Most of its renovations were finished. Just a few more floors and a handful of spare rooms scattered about needed to be fixed. There was the whole mess in room 223. A pipe that got misaligned and screwed in the wrong way flooded it. But that was a story for another time. There was a far more important development that happened. The Princess of Hell finished her post and ran about the floors. Vaggie, Vaggie, Charlie called for her girlfriend. Within moments it was evident that she was not with her on the second floor, maybe higher. Charlie shot up the stairway to the third, then the fourth. At the fifth she was getting frustrated. Where? Text. She could text. Her phone chimed with a response to her comment on Auntie B's pic on Voxtagram. 1.5 million saw the pic and were debating Hotel_Magnament. Oh. Ugh, duh, Charlie. She was fixing the wiring to the doorbell. Charlie palmed her face and then ran down the 5 flights of stairs. She was nearly out of breath by the end of it, but got invigorated when she found her girlfriend. Vaggie, you saw my post, did you see? Yeah. They got together or whatever, whoop-de-doo. Vaggie crossed her arms. You've been hollering for 2 minutes and cleared 4 floors looking for me. I was halfway through the 5th, Charlie nodded. Babe, I love that I can inspire you so much. But, what's 223's toilet status? Oh, that's busted. We need to call a plumber in. Charlie sighed and crossed her arms. Vaggie groaned. The last one tried to get a running tab open, and the others quit after you oversold the hotel. Right. Charlie frowned. She rubbed her chin. Maybe we can ask someone outside of Pentagram City. Everyone avoids this place like the plague if they can help it. You'd have to be either powerful enough to rival royals or stupid enough to agree to cash on principle. Vaggie shook her head. Not to mention the F-vultures that would come after them, so we'd need some extra muscle. You know how sinners get when they meet Hellborn? Yeah, our souls tend to increase their power if they can snag us into a deal. Charlie hummed in agreement. Her phone chirped with another update and she grinned. Ha, even Dad supports them. And he's offering to record their wedding. What? Vaggie peered over her shoulder. She swallowed a snort and clapped Charlie's shoulder. Oh, Charlie. I need to explain something about canine anatomy to you. Huh. What's that got to do with? Just trust me, don't respond to that comment yet. Your breath tastes effin' awful after you smoke. Naruto rumbled to his girlfriend FSCK at Oily Sage and Ino. He scored himself a hot girlfriend. After he tried to embrace her, he had to pull back and reactivate the almighty boop just to ignore the nasty vibes the tar residue on her lips gave to him. Luna growled, but relaxed into the second boop and tightened her arms around his sides. Sore Rai for getting effin' stressed out by some butt, you know. Oh, the many ways he could respond to that. Instead, he pushed her muzzle down with his own to nuzzle his forehead into hers. He pulled his nose away from hers to embrace her head and then nuzzled her again. No, I get it, just sayin', I like the taste of Luna's latte better than Luna's lights. He smiled as the nasty vibes that clung to her usual sweet scent bled away to content happiness and of course the FBN vibe. Her tail swooshed about the limousine cabin behind her and she nipped at his jaw, just shy of the sweet spot. That caused his own wriggling menace to thwap against the LTHR seats and for him to rumble. Oh, gross. What the actual F, Lusai? Of course, those were the words Naruto had to come out of his boop-induced bliss to. Typical F. Dushifer had to do something. He glanced at B to find her staring at her hellphone. The same hellphone that had its camera aimed at him and his girlfriend. Something about that seemed. B? Luna pulled a bit out of his embrace and twisted in his lap. Oh, hey, there's a slight issue he hadn't anticipated happening today. Okay, focus. He can get out of this without the Sakura reaction counter gaining a digit. Focus on the ceiling. Yes, the ceiling. Not the absolutely delightful rump, hips and legs that were pressing into your pelvis. Focus on the F ceiling, Naruto. Towards his sister in all but BLD. She had her own phone out. Did you post a picture of us? I mean, duh? You two are so F sweet, I'm getting cavities and stomach ulcers. Wait, you've got a gram? You follow me? B beamed. Oh, joy. She slid forward across the seats and two of her arms grabbed Luna's. What's your account, pretty pup? I gotta follow you back and tag you in this SHT. That's really not necessary. Oh, hell yes the F it is. If I can tag you it'll get some of those uppity Gosha F off my back too. B deepened her voice to a snarky mockery of a snooty member of Payman's clutch, and two of her hands used finger quotes. Bridge the gap betwixt royal houses that's been happening since this F rocket scientist went public with a bodyguard advert that wasn't F ready to be sold yet. I make F clones and blow SHT up. What more could someone want? Naruto argued back. Huh, weird that the cabin suddenly filled with a tangy hint of lust. Meh, not important. He looked at Luna, brow furrowed. What's wrong with her tagging you? Well, I like my F privacy, for one. The F did that mean? His confusion must have been evident because Luna rolled her eyes and patted his muzzle. Paparazzi, dumbass. You're a minor celebrity, and I'm some F nobody. The F she was. Luna was amazing. Whoever said otherwise needed a F infinite torment delivered from him to their butt. They'll hound me for F answers since you're pretty much untouchable. That reminds me. Who the F is Russ? Russ? But the only Russ we know is? B gasped and then snarled at him. Oh. The queen bee was coming out. You little SHT, what the F did you go to him for that I couldn't help you with? Some human agency snagged Luna while we were exploring the beach near Verasika's concert. Before you start. He snarled at B and pulled Luna out of her grasp to let her breathe. They were technically house demons and their presence was dangerous for her if unchecked. His growl gained a small chatter that his sister picked up on to keep her from thinking he was challenging her. They're all dead. I dealt with them and Cerberus helped me do it. Wait, that was F Cerberus. I talked SHT too. I hung up on the original F Hound of Hell, Luna asked, her ears folded back and a sharp whine pierced the air. SHT. F, he'd wanted to break that to her a bit easier. God F damn it, why did life hate him so F much? Whoa, wait? You did? B swiftly reverted back to her fully restrained form and went wide-eyed once more before all four of her arms crossed. She grinned and nodded. Mad respect, pretty pup. Takes major heavy sacks to shut down Serb and Herb once they get going. Russ is a total pushover, though, but he's really F good with his tongue. Actually, they're all really F good with their tongues. But, like SHT, if I could rearrange them to my liking, leave M with one head, I'd keep their hot bod, up Russ attitude, Serb's liver and Herb's face F. Have you seen his face? Ugh, baby bro, don't tell Tex, but I miss sitting on Herb's mouth sometimes. TMFI. Naruto deadpanned with a groan. He sat back against the seats of the limo and let Luna relax against him while he stroked her back. There was a faint tremble under her skin and soft whimpers that pierced his heart. The sour fear in the air was starting to bother him. Hey, it's fine. You're safe, Luna. I promise. Russ and his brothers they're the guard, you know? He and B dated until she cheated on him. Not my best decision, in hindsight. B admitted with a shrug. Naruto rolled his eyes at the blasé attitude of her infidelity. Because of what he remembered of life before, he was used to monogamy and the way cheating was dealt with. When he'd heard about what happened between the two during one of his decade-long naps, he'd been pissed. Now though, it has been centuries since they split. At least the two were cordial, if a bit competitive over his affection. Arguably, the dumbest thing to fight with an ex over. Well, yeah, they broke up. But even after they split, he's basically family. He finished. Luna lost her trembles and the whine mercifully stopped. She pushed back on his shoulders and stared him in the eyes. You asked Cerberus to help you rescue me? Huh, that sweet FBN vibe just filled the whole F cabin. He could hear B sniffing and she let out a chuckle. F in, get it, baby bro. Do not. Naruto pointed a claw at her as he held Luna's gaze. DMN, but he loved her red eyes, and her scent, and her curvy hips. And focus. Your girlfriend asked you a question, moron. Yeah, and? You? Her brow furrowed as she tried and failed to say something. Eventually, she growled before she cupped his face and gently pushed her lips to his. Sweet vanilla Luna. His eyes fell shut as he leaned into it, and the wriggle started. Free embrace instead of chewing out for another bomb drop. F. Yes, no complaints on his end weight, no. Ugh. Slight complaints. Still a faint taste of cigarette polluting her sweet taste. The embrace broke and Luna rubbed her muzzle against his. He rumbled as she whispered into his ear. You are a F moron. That's what I F and tell him all the goddamn time, B laughed. He chanced a quick glance at her and saw her phone before Luna's claw grazed one of his spots by his right ear and she stole all of his attention. Wait, no. Need an answer. Are you taking more pictures right now? Naruto asked. His claws gently scratched into the spot just below Luna's, spot, and right at the edge of her very curvy hips. He didn't dare open his eyes as Luna began to scent, embrace, and nip at his jaw. She was very close to his own spot, and he was super F lucky she couldn't find it. And ruin this sweet moment with camera flashes? F no, of course not, B scoffed. He heard the grin within her next words. I am F recording this SHT. Ozzy will pay stupid stacks for fresh Foxhound action. He can edit our voices out later though, probably put one of those cheap but Eminem tracks over it. His girlfriend froze and her nose hovered over his spot. F. She was going to make him go literally stupid if she actually reached it. Her soft huffs of breath were already causing issues with coherent thought. Ozzy? As in Asmodeus? As in the actual F sin of lust? Luna asked. Her face once more turned to be oh, thank F. Naruto could relax. His spot was still secret, and she whined. You're going to? Sell it to Ozzy. F bet your sweet butt I will, pretty pup. B's tone had Naruto crack his eyes open and growl at her. That was the same F voice she used whenever she teased someone. She met his gaze and held a hand up. Sorry, my bad. Party pan slipped out. Yeah, sure it did. Naruto let his growl taper off and subtly adjusted his hold on Luna to one that was more defensive. A tricky feat, considering the effect his girlfriend was having on his extremities. What would it take for you to not? Luna asked. Not flirt? Total accident on my end. No, that's fine. He'd be upset if his girlfriend didn't just nudge the barely tucked bulge in his pants with her knee. Okay, so she clearly knew that was there now, right? That's embarrassing. and concerning. She hadn't brought it up. I meant selling the video. Oh? B shifted in her seat. You want it for yourself? That's kinda hot. B. Naruto warned. Another squinted glare aimed her way. And well, maybe. What? Well, that's a fun fantasy Naruto will enjoy later. Luna was still talking, so he'd focus right now. Look, I know we're in hell and all, but I value my privacy. I can deal with the paparazzi. Just a few beats and parties, and they'll forget. B grinned as she lost herself to her partying mind. Great. Now he would have to negotiate for more time to focus on his own life. Blitzo, alright? I don't want Blitzo to get word of this. Luna snapped before she slumped and rested her head on his shoulder. One of his claws reached up and started to scratch her back. She sighed. A bitter twist of resignation, gratitude, and irritation perverted her sweet vibes. He's so much sometimes. Blitzo? B tapped her chin. Wait, hold on. Did she forget? Best case scenario. Please forget. Now I know I've heard that name before. He's really not an issue. Naruto quickly interjected. The last thing he needed was for B to go absolute binge mode on an imp. No matter how annoying, overprotective, or assholish Blitzo was to him and Luna, he could not let B inject herself into that dynamic. The property damage and meetings he or his clones would be stuck in afterwards douchifer, making every legal hassle a week spanning issue at the least. He's the imp that adopted me. He kind of attacked Naruto on his first job. No, did she just? No, seriously, why? B was gonna let it drop if her memory didn't get jogged. Effin' nice going, Luna, he groaned. The vibes in the air just shifted to the red-hot spice of wrath. The limo groaned as B's eyes narrowed and her fangs were bared. What? Luna glared at him. Oh, wonderful. The wrath is spreading. You, Satan, you sadomasochistic psychopath. It's what happened. Oh. Him. Yeah, I remember him. B curled her lip into a snarl. She started to grow and her colors changed. That uppity little imp thinks he's better than he is, higher than his place because he's a sad little bird, and then attacks my baby bro. This, he cut into his sister's rising tirade and guided Luna to sit on his other side. Yep, despite doing that, he still had a B-nerve. Now on partial display. Great focus, stupid. Sin on the verge of binging. He snarled at B as her back pressed into the limo's roof. This is why I asked Cerberus for help, sis. He can do discreet and demolition. With you, it's just demolition. Redirect, restrain, and relax. The 3 R's that can help someone deal with an upset Queen Bee. If they weren't on their way to sloth right now, they'd probably be having a whole different kind of conversation. One with fangs and claws. One he would probably lose. I can be discreet. You're about 13 feet and growing in the limo. He deadpanned. B snarled at him, and he held his hands up. What? You are? Calm down. Why shoo? Because if you calm down and shrink, you can help Luna make my Voxdicin whatever account, and we can talk about how we want to handle the orphanage welfare checks with her. Naruto explained. He reached up and grabbed one of her hands. He just barely managed to fit his entire hand in her palm, so that was promising before he smiled at her like he did when he was smaller. Come on, sis. Calm down. You're probably just hungry, right? Yeah, a little. B sighed as she shrank down and the limo resumed its cruising speed. She made a bucket of live baby chicks and started popping them into her mouth. That's not bad. Naruto felt his ear flick and looked away from the gruesome sight. Live meat sources from Earth was not something he saw often that she created. It always made his stomach sick, like that time she whipped up a batch of kittens. A hand tugged him back to his seat and a weight straddled his lap, ripping him out of that horrific memory. Once more grabbing his shoulders, Luna stared into his eyes. Her ears were perked and her tail wagged like a flag. You'll let me make you an account? That's cute. He knew she'd be excited by the prospect of it. She'd only been asking/hinting at it since Monday, when the subject came up before she was abducted, but this was a whole new level. The only reasons he didn't have an account already was due partially to his phases of narcolepsy, and because he didn't really care about it. He already knew he was awesome, and anyone who thought otherwise he'd just show them how wrong they were. Why worry about followers and that SHT? Yeah, I thought about it. B would probably have done it already if I hadn't put my F foot down. He glowered and growled at his smirking, snacking sister. You still asked for too much. An awesome PP pic to throw around in others' faces or rub off to whenever the F I feel like it. I disagree. If anything, I should have bartered for more. She grinned as she finished off the chirping chicks and BLD dripped from her mouth. Ugh, he hated it whenever she tried to mess with him like the crazy snake lady did. The lust in the air got too F thick too fast. You're lucky I was feeling so generous. You're lucky I was dealing with FPBRTY and couldn't stop popping boners. Naruto snarled as his ears burned and went flat. He did not want to talk about that picture and why he did it. It was a dumb mistake that's been biting him in the butt since he made it. What? Luna looked between them. He glanced at her and then glared at the roof of the car. F. The stupid beaner was back. Ugh, he'll just ignore it since his girlfriend was doing the same thing. A very dumb agreement that got her to let me deal with my own social media presence. It was about what? 20? 25 years back? He asked, looking at his sister. Yeah, maybe. B shrugged and licked her fingers before she ate the bucket. Your social media presence? You mean the non-existent one? Luna deadpanned. Exactly, he chirped with a smirk as he looked back at her. He held his phone up and then went serious as her eyes fell on it. I am trusting you with my phone. Do not abuse this trust. I work with assassins. Don't mention them. Be advised, a dark gleam in her eye. I'm still hungry, and imps don't taste half bad. Noted. Luna shrugged and snatched his phone. She pecked his cheek, turned and sat with her back against his chest. Okay, SHT. Her butt was sandwiching his PP. F. That felt nice. No. Focus. Look at the ceiling. He'll have to buff that dent out. Maybe 2 clones jumping on it, or this wasn't working. Focus. Quick. Focus on yes. Luna's cute tail swooshed into his side. That he could focus on and use to will the Irkton away. He wrapped his arms around his girlfriend and enjoyed her scent. Consequently, a rumble started. Much easier to manage than an irked PP. Don't think about it. Dipshit. Focus. He sniffed and gave a quick lick to his girlfriend's notched ear and grinned when it flicked into his nose. Sweet vanilla wafted into his sniffer. Stop. What do you want as a username? Does it really F matter? Of course it matters, baby bro. And there was B, using his other shoulder to rest on as one hand pointed at pictures for Luna to select. Wait, why were they in his funny faces folder? He opened his mouth. B closed it with a hand. You gave us control, suffer the consequences. Naruto rolled his eyes, but complied with the demand. Unable to tease Luna lest B retaliate for distracting her, he decided to just enjoy being surrounded by his 2 favorite precious people. There was still 40 minutes to get to Sloth's Hellhound Orphanage, and once they started talking about that, instead of his account, he'd chime in. Oh, come on, seriously, B groaned. How the SHT is Ninja Gluttonjuke taken? Luna scowled. The ID came up when searched and B showed her. She rolled her eyes. F. Odakus. I know, right? Kids need to F get out more. There's different reasons we agree about that, but here's a suggestion. Maybe don't focus on my house's sin? Naruto mumbled into her ear. F. He had to stop teasing her. It was strong enough to F focus when his PP, and that was a FPP, not just some strong PP. No, don't think about the snapped collar. He didn't bring it up, don't bring it up. B is right F there. Kept jabbing into her. But now that it's softer, she could focus on all the other ways he was inadvertently teasing her. One of his claws gently stroked her left side while his head rested on her right shoulder. His whiskered muzzle would brush against her notched ear and F did that send electricity up her spine. Then there was FB's idle hands that occasionally grabbed her thigh or she'd point out a selfie her boyfriend took. Luna sent many of them to her own phone by text to save for F later. She wanted to F etch her boyfriend's chest into her mind. His muscles were packed so F tight. To upload to his account. But then how are they supposed to know we're related, baby bro? Oh, I don't know, maybe F look at your account. Oh yeah, he deserved that whap on the snout. Oh, F, that wine was too much. And it was F playful. His arms tightened around her and Luna had to quell her F-loins before they roasted her alive. Luna, B's beating me up. You F beach, B giggled. Luna smirked. The F do you expect me to do about it? Ask her to stop. You're pretty, she'll listen to you. God F damn it. He was going to make her F combust. Her ears folded back and Luna just huffed. She reached back and scratched him under the chin. His awful whine cut and the rumble came back. She smirked as he stopped the play to lean into her touch. She pecked his snout. You're pretty, too, and you've known her longer. You still have a better chance than me. Nah, baby bro is more cute than pretty. B waved a hand dismissively. Luna conceded to that and went back to brainstorming her boyfriend's account name. Baby sis is a F knockout, though. Sorry, what? Naruto perked up and the muffled thwap 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 told her he was pleased by the words. The words that absolutely confused the SHT out of Luna. Aw, thanks, B. I'm so glad you like it. It took years to get that move back in working order. Longer than the clones or developing my human disguise. Which, honestly, F weird. What the F? You should totally go as baby sis for a party. F, has Tex seen it yet? Nah, I'm saving that meeting for as long as I can. He started to snicker and hot F did it sound evil. What the F are you two talking about? Luna asked, half turning to look her boyfriend in the eye, but not enough to risk the comfortable pressure pushing into her butt that she'd gotten used to. Baby bro, you mean you didn't F tell her? It hasn't come up. He shrugged. F shrugged at the oversimplification of her constant source of aggravation in regards to him. On F Lucifer's name, if this idiot dropped another bomb. My adorable baby bro is gender fluid. B cheered while the baby bro in question clapped a hand over his face. Well, the saving grace for him was that he didn't drop the bomb himself. What? Was all she could manage. Yeah, her boyfriend's sister nodded. He can turn himself into a hot chick. Like, valid, hot. So many avenues to explore just opened up for the bisexual disaster that was Luna. That doesn't mean I'm F gender fluid, B. Yes it does. You can SWCH at will. I still identify as a male, even when I'm in Warok. Oreo wa? Oh, SHT, I think we broke her. Luna? Loon? She heard him, but words were failing Luna. Her boyfriend could, what? F crossdress well? What? Was he like angel dust or something? On second thought, probably not with the PP he was packing. Oh, hey. Free boop. Luna is okay with this development. She hummed into it. Hey, what the F? No shorting the boop. The F? She glared at her idiot boyfriend and grabbed his collar. Don't you ever F do that again. She's back. B chuckled while Naruto's brow furrowed. Do what? Boop? It's called F what? Unholy SHT, that's too F adorable. Just yes. The sin squealed. Luna would die of embarrassment later. She had to get a point across to her idiot partner. You shorted the boop. She curled her lip. Don't ever F do that again. Okay. Okay, she snarled. Right, never again. You got it? He nodded quickly. Good, it was settled. Wait, no, hold on. There was something else she was miffed about. Luna glared into his eyes again. What the F is an Oreo K? Oreo K, he said slowly. He grinned. It's a ninja. Do not say it's a F ninja thing. It's a Naruto thing. B supplemented with a laugh. Luna glared at her. She was encouraging his SHT, and that wasn't okay. That was part of the problem. Well, she's not wrong. The fox fiend in question shrugged. It's like how I make my clones. Not magic, but something else. I can make a kind of really detailed female disguise. Kind of really detailed, he says. B snorted and poked his face. He snarled and swiped at her. This cheeky little F-er went into an exam with Belfagor changed into a F knockout and proceeded to get a full body exam. Gyno included. Little SHT gets to enjoy the power of the Uters without the first man's last laugh. Why is it called that? Anyway, I don't get the joke. Naruto frowned. Luna didn't even have a F idea what they were talking about. Well, she got the gist of most of it, which made her as a connoisseur of the flesh of both male and female extremely excited. Can I see it? What? Oh, Warok? Luna nodded. She tried to quell her tail's excited wag, and failed. He shrugged. There was a poof, and then the cabin was filled with smoke until B slurped it all up like a vacuum. The lap she sat on was a little smaller, but not by much, and the scent was the same, so Luna's eyes went wide. Hey! The curvy Holy SHT, that was still lean muscle, and it was curvy Vixen that held her in her smaller, but no less defined arms had a sinful smirk on her face. The cream scars were near absent, but still there if one squinted, and her eyes had complementing mascara that was DMN near perfect. Her red-orange coat had a bloody hue that meshed very well with the lighter, thicker mane that sprouted from her head. But that F smirk, this F-er is not F looking at her like that with that thinner, almost bee-like face and not going to make her regret F asking. All that control over her reaction to his teasing earlier? Yeah, that was eaten up with the F smoke. Her ears, face and groin blazed with heat. Her jaw went slack and her tail limp. Gah. Coherency, poise, and grace, thy name is Luna. I think she effin' likes it. B snickered. I think you're right. That breathy voice was not F aloud, that was cheating. The sultry Vixen leaned in for an embrace, sweet full lips that she'd not dare bite because they were unfamiliar and suddenly close to her own mouth meshed with her own, and Luna was gonna oh. She knows this scent and taste. Yes, almost coconut and violets. She wanted to bite into it. Can't, not the lips she knew. Too different. Her ear flicked at another poof. Oh, huh, she knows these lips better, less perfect, more bite-able. Perfect. F.O. Luna. Her boyfriend pulled back and ran his tongue along the jowls she might have accidentally torn into. That's a little too rough. Sorry. Luna let her ears fall down and gathered his head in her hands. She kissed and then licked the half-inch cut that was there. His BLD had a citrus twist to it. Weird but not unheard of. Maybe fox fiends were just naturally delicious. Kane KY, B snickered. She yelped when the wriggler slapped her snout. Party foul. You started it. House Rule 3, no K&K shaming. Naruto teased the now sulky B as he put his arms around Luna again. Another quick and gentle embrace was shared before he grinned. So, what's the verdict? Hot. Very hot. Luna admitted, her ears afire. Her tail swooshed once. Her brow furrowed. Weird though, I couldn't get into the embrace. Different scents and textures threw me off. Ah, like smelling fresh beef ramen and eating the broth. He nodded. What th? You know what? He can have that one. See what I mean though, baby sis? Total effin' fox. B grinned as she jumped into their space, hugging them both. That hand was way too close to her spot for her liking. She growled at the Sin, who grinned at her, moved her hand, and then turned a narrowed gaze on her boyfriend. Baby bro? Total cutie patity. I am not cut ta. Naruto's head snapped to an angle as his sister scratched a point on his jaw. His eyes went half-lidded and the rapid-fire thwap 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 of the wriggler made itself known. What was? So cute. B reiterated. One of the Sin's other 3 hands took her wrist and guided it to a spot at the base of his ears, by the hinge of his jaw, and OSHT. Was this where she was scratching him on the other side? Luna joined in and the Sin of gluttony chuckled before she cooed at the utter mess Naruto had become. A cute whittle orange, fuchsias, just a little goy. Hate, he protested. The rumble in his chest did little to supplement that declaration. B's hands tore away and his half-lidded gaze turned to Luna as her scratching continued. Please. No. Luna smirked and pressed her lips onto the top of his nose to stop the whine that he let out. Moi. Sorry, babe. You're just too cute right now. Riveting rebuttal. With that point made, Luna was definitely going to stop torturing him. Sometime in the near future. And that's his profile pic. B snickered as she took the photo. Then Naruto's phone dinged. Luna used her free hand to keep scratching him. She wasn't sure when the next time she'd have this opportunity for payback would arrive, so she wasn't wasting it while the other changed the previous shirtless selfie that they'd selected. He was covered head to foot in doodles from some party he fell asleep at. Or so the story went. To the received spot-scratched photo and entered a username. How do you think you spell fudges? She asked, looking at B. Why? Oh, that's F brilliant, pretty pup. Luna smirked before she created the account and added her own and B's to the friends list, then updating her account's connection to his. He could add more later. With that done, she used B's expertise and mildly alarming familiarity with her boyfriend's body to turn him into a puddle of goo. Payback, as they say, is a beach. What they don't tell you is that her name is Luna, and she would get her stupid, adorable boyfriend back for all of his dumb, bomb-worthy secrets with this scratch session. Luna hadn't been outside when he went to check on her 20 minutes ago, so Blitzo took that to mean she went out drinking with her friends again. His poor little girl, so stressed out by her dip into bodyguarding. He shook his head and went through a few more requests when his backup's backup hellphone dung. This phone didn't have connection to the providers his actual phone was connected to, but it did have Wi-Fi. As such, it was good to keep connected to the spare Voxtagram account he had assigned to follow Luna's posts, what with her blocking his personal and professional accounts years ago. What antics is Looney Tooney getting up to? The amused smile that had been on his face slowly fell into a scowl. His right eye twitched and his lip curled as he read the alert. What the F? Moonlight Howling 666 was tagged in 4 photos. She certainly was. His darling Looney had gotten caught in 4 pictures, great angles of his baby, for sure. He'd love them, if all of them weren't with that no-good royal kidnapper son of a bitch. He snarled and went to bomb threat the F poster of those pictures. Oh, Satan's steaming swamp of SHT. Moonlight Howling 666 has been marked as verified by Queen Biatch. Hail the Prince of Gluttony's new favorite person. Moonlight Howling 666 the pretty pup. Went and got protection. SHT. Blitzo slammed his fist onto his desk as he ground his teeth. Another ding had him open the new notification. Moonlight Howling 666 has an updated profile picture. Okay, it wasn't the end. Looney was still in control of her own profile. No. Come the F on, Looney. Work with Daddy here, Blitzo shrieked. The picture was a selfie of his darling baby girl, giving her cute little smile, with her nose pressed against the nose of that kidnapping PD flea while he hovered behind her like the F creep he was. He felt his eye twitch as another new alert went off. He stared at it before he snarled and tossed the phone across the room. He pulled his personal primary hellphone out and dialed a number. One ring happened before the F-er answered. Blitzy, what can I? Stow it. Stolas, I'm too F pissed off. I'm coming over and I'm riding your F butt raw. Oh, my, is this about that little update I just got? Be bleached and ready in 15 or get ready to F bleed on me. SHT for brains. Blitzo snapped as he hung his phone up and kicked the spare phone out into the main office. He glared at Millie and Moxie, who were glued to their phones. Sir, I take it you saw. Talk to me about it, Mox, and I will rip your face off and wear it to my angry F session, he snapped. He stormed past and stopped once he threw the door open. Lock this shithole up, we're closed for the F day. Sure, bang Blitz. He slammed the door behind him before Millie even finished talking. His eyes twitched, and in his mind's eye, he could still see clearly the alert that pissed him off so much. Moonlight Howling 666 has updated relationship status to committed with Orange Uffitshrimen. Dad? What the F? Octavia stared at her father from the open bathroom door, eye twitching. She was unable to look away or move. Her father was NDE, preening, and had one of the house imps doing something to his rear end. Tavia, language, please. Her father chided as he plucked a stray feather from his cheek. Darling, if you wouldn't mind, could you close the door? Daddy has a very important meeting tonight. That imp is coming over again, isn't he? She groaned, finally tore her eyes away from him to groan into her hands. F, you actually picked a day that Mom was out to have a F hookup? If you'd F told me, I'd have made plans. Sweetheart, I love you, but well, there's no nice way to put this, you don't have any friends. Dad turned to her, leaning on the bathroom counter with a smirk. How was he able to do that while that imp had its arm up his? She turned her head away and ignored the heated twist in her gut. I have friends. There was, well, then she could claim. She totally had friends, didn't she? Your uncles and cousins do not count as friends, they are family. Believe you me, darling, BLD may be thicker than water, but it is no less toxic. Dad sighed. Our life of luxury is not an easy one. I do apologize you were born into it, but I have kept a grand. Oh, spare me your F story, Dad. Go ahead and get ready for your F session. Just do me a favor and keep it away from my room." Octavia sighed and walked away, hugging her arms as she did. She heard him start to say something and then yelp. Well, that's what he F gets, having an imp's arm up his butt. An uncomfortable curling centered in her gut. "Everything all right, princess?" an imp servant asked as she passed them. They wore a traditional suit of the buttling variety, dark hair pulled back into a neat ponytail while their red ram-like horns curved close to their scalp. In their arms was a bouquet of red rose petals. Ugh, she knew exactly where that was going. "F peaky," she grumbled before she stopped. She turned to the imp. "What's your name?" My name, princess? Oh, F great." Mother's F anger issues and her tendency to abuse the staff made them wary of her. She just asked a normal F question. Ugh, Octavia hates her F family, down to the last member. "Yes. Your name?" I Itachi," he stammered. "My name is Itachi." "Doesn't that mean weasel?" Octavia asked. The imp, Itachi, gave a weak smile. "It was that, or my mother would go with cockchild servant number 3. Octavia snorted, which made his smile grow a bit more genuine. She shifted and looked at the roses. He followed her gaze. "Oh, Prince Stolas." "I can F guess," she cut him short and then sighed. "Sorry. A lot's going on." "I understand, miss." He looked at the roses again and then to her. "Princess, would you like me to bring something to your quarters? Snacks? Tea? Coffee? Alcohol?" "You'd bring me alcohol?" Octavia arched her brow. The imp's smile turned, well, impish. "Only if asked, and it wouldn't be anything fancy." "You're all right, Itachi," she chuckled. He bowed his head to her, and she waved him off. "Go do whatever Dad's asked you to do with that. Then bring me something with alcohol in it, and maybe some Honey Beals cakes, if there's any in the cupboard. A 6-pack, and have the cooks make you some fresh Beals cakes. Understood?" "No," I said. "Yes, princess, I heard you. Go finish the request for your father, then bring you a case of chilled beer and fresh honey-flavored Beals cakes." The little imp ran off with another bow and Octavia watched him go. She felt her beak curl up and walked back to her room with her head held high. "You have got to be shitting me." Verisica Mayday felt her left eye twitch as she sat on a bench outside of Slut's Socks and SHT. The shopping spree she and her crew were on was now officially unsponsored. How did she know this? Well, her bodyguard and her new boss boyfriend had shown her a post on Voxtagram. It was pretty cute. Oh, it was the version PP. He got an official Voxtagram account. Orangefitzriman, punny. Aw, and look at that goofy O face he used as his profile pic. Ugh, it was going to look so much better in person underneath her, or above her, even in a mirror, and B verified it. Sweet. After she told the others about the development and new medium she could S-duck the PP with, Verisica quickly signed in to her account and sent him a friend request, then followed his account. She looked through the posts. Yes, yes, so many pics for her to flick her bean to that were already there. Then it updated. Orangefitzriman has updated relationship status to committed with Moonlight Howling 666. "Oh, just throw it in my face, why don't you?" she snarled. She set her phone down and drummed her fingers on her leg. Then she turned to Kiki, who along with the rest of the crew, stared at her. "We need to start strong." "What do you want to do, then?" "Where's the nearest Velvet's outlet?" If Verisica was going to S-duck this F-Royal version, she needed to hit the little blighter strong and fast with her strongest form of sex appeal. Her eyes glanced at Tex the F-trader that had an ear on them while he scanned the crowd for potential threats. "And can we get a leash?" "Don't even think about it," the hound bodyguard said without tearing his eyes from the crowd. "It's not for you," Verisica scoffed. She smirked. "But I bet B would like to see you wear one." "She already has." "That's hot." Milky giggled. Verisica tittered in agreement with the rest of her crew and looked back at the Voxtagram account for her latest target. "I bet he'd look good with a leash, too. I wonder what B has him doing right now." Lord Elzebub, is it true you've entered a relationship with a hellhound?" Sir, do you have any news or opinions on the rumors around Lord Lucifer and Lady Lilith's separation?" Miss, are you really dating, or are you a paid entertainer?" Are the rumors about you and Bigfoot being distant cousins true? Lord Elzebub, does your bodyguard agency protect its client in any way they ask? F off, shut up, F you, go away, got him it. The fox fiend snarled as he kept shoving microphones and cameras out of his face. B, you are so F dead to me. See what I meant about the F paparazzi? Luna growled as she and Naruto pushed their way through the F vultures that stood between them and the massive flamboyant restaurant they were thrown out to by the sin of gluttony. She apparently had enough fun teasing them a lie, Luna suspected, because she'd gotten a text just as they entered the lust ring and tossed them out a block from Ozzy's. She snarled as a microphone was moved in her face. Get that the F out. Thoughtson, knockoffs and fake it weekly. An voluptuous succubus with short white hair and a furred coat held the damned mic into her face as she grinned at her. Where did you get that top? It's so out of season and cheap. Demons will want to know. F this beach in particular, this was her favorite top. Luna snarled and reared her arm back to slash the invasive demon into ribbons. Her wrist was caught, and she almost rounded on the obstructor, only to find her boyfriend standing there. Her very, very growly, frizz-furred, taller, and tense boyfriend. His lip was curled back far enough to expose both of his large canines, and his eyes had become a pair of emissive, crackling white voids. I'm officially over this SHT. Naruto growled as he pulled her behind him and stepped up to the mic, which shorted out as he approached. The air around them started to heat up and the pinkish clouds overhead darkened. The various demons amongst the paparazzi started to lose their luster, breath, and, for a fortunate few, their wills to live. They died on the spot. The wriggler snapped so loud, the rest of the scum stood at attention. Her boyfriend's snarl echoed through the now silent street, the eyes of all demons on the source. Now that I have your attention, leave. I'm not taking questions, and neither is my girlfriend. The words were uttered softly, but were heard clearly. The growled edge in his voice had everyone enthralled. Very well. If anyone is still standing here in the next 2 seconds, if anyone continues to pester me or my girlfriend after we leave this F-ring, well, a demonstration. Naruto raised his left arm up. Unrelated side note, Luna F loved the sleeveless shirt and shorts combo he was wearing right now. At this angle it emphasized the patch of cream on his chest, that almost looked like it had Lichtenberg figures branching off of it, and held his open hand to the sky. A flash of red shot from his palm and spread through the now darkened sky like a roll of thunder. Strings of crimson lightning danced across the clouds before they came back together and rocketed down with a sharp whistle onto the very unprepared Thoughtson in a massive bolt. The succubus didn't even get a chance to scream, just a flash of light, a whistle of lightning, and her charred, shredded body fell apart in the street. The paparazzi stared at it, and the street remained silent. There was a shudder of a camera, which stirred them from the stupor they were in, and eyes turned to the Duke of Gluttony. Luna couldn't see his face, but his ears were angled and he was still tense, his hands still raised. He took a deep breath and his arm lowered in time with his exhale. A beat passed. He growled. 1. The street was emptied in record time. F, that's hot. Luna felt her entire body burn as if on fire, and her tail started to wag when he took her hand in the same one that had just killed the succubus. She could still feel the heat from his palm, and a tingle of electricity danced up her spine. His grip tightened around her hand, and she allowed herself to be guided up to walk beside him on the right. He wasn't smiling, nor was he snarling, but his lips were curved down. I hate doing that. Killing annoying effers? She asked. He glanced at her, a light glow still evident in his blue eyes, and his lip pulled into a half-smirk. No. Naruto let out a huff. He looked back at Ozzy's as they walked up to the entrance. He rolled his left shoulder and grimaced at the pop that followed. Using lightning magic. SHTF hurts. Is there a story there? Not one I'm going to tell. Okay, then. A flat-out shutdown like that meant it was really strong for him to talk about. Probably another ninja thing anyway, but whatever, Luna could take a hint. And she'd gotten enough bombs from her boyfriend today, she was going to be thinking about his Warrock thing all night, and possibly even the rest of the week. She squeezed the hand that was wrapped around hers, and he squeezed back before their claws interlaced. The familiar blue eyes glanced down to her red, and he gently pulled her again so that his hand was out of her grasp, and now his arm was over her shoulders. Before she could even think to complain, he brought his head down. Oh, well, all right then. Luna was down for an embrace. She let her eyes close and her arm went around his side as their lips met. Violet coconut. Almost as good as a fresh vanilla latte. Almost. When the embrace broke, he was smiling again and the wriggler thwaped into her tail's swoosh. She smiled back. I should say thanks, he rumbled, claws gently grazing her skin as he continued walking with his arm over her shoulders. She rested her head against his collarbone and snorted. I didn't do anything. Exactly. You let me handle it. That was important. Before she could ask, they made it to the door, where a half-dressed bouncer stood with stickers over his nipples. Reservation. Duke of Gluttony. Luna looked at him with an arched brow. He made a reservation. Naruto glanced down at her, his lips still up in a smile, and winked. Oh, this should be interesting. Right. The bouncer pulled a clipboard out from behind him. Where was he keeping you-know-what? That's a question she really doesn't need an answer for. He flipped through pages and gulped. I'm sorry, sir. I see can't. You can't? Naruto asked, a brow arched. He rolled his left hand at the wrist. Finish your sentence. I can't find your name. Really? Huh, funny that. His hellphone was out and he scrolled through his contacts. A seal that matched the one on the door was pressed and he held his phone to his ear. Hey, it's me. I'm outside. B basically threw us out of the car. Yeah, she's with me. Whatever. Look, your bouncer diamond marks. Oh, cool. Anyway, yeah, he's doing a great job. He just can't find my name, though. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that was me. Oh, okay. He held the phone out to the bouncer. It's for you, Jessie, right? Luna had to do her best not to laugh at the way this tall imp's skin went stark white and nodded. He shakily took the phone and held it to his ear. Why, yes, sir. Huh, she didn't know imps could turn that color. I'm sorry, no. Sir, no. Yes. Oh, of course, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He gave Naruto his phone back, and the fox fiend grinned as he held the phone to his ear. Yeah, sure. See you in a sec, Oz. Thanks. He hung up. On the sin of lust. On a F-sin on the F-sin. Ooh, that stoked fire that kept rearing its head today was starting to burn a trail through her body again. Naruto scented the air, glanced at her with furrowed brows, before he shrugged and grinned at Jessie. So? My apologies, sir, miss. Head on in. The door was held open and SHT. Luna felt severely underdressed. Everyone in the restaurant was dressed to the 9s, 10s, and so on. Of course, Naruto didn't seem to register that and guided her in. A low, smoky, sultry tune carried through the air as caged demons above danced and tables were set for 2 at a time. May I direct you two to your seats? The maitre d', a thin twig of an imp, gestured toward a table while also looking over their attire. Judging them, she felt eyes roam over her and wrapped her arms around herself. Her tail fell to curl at her heel again. Naruto's arm tightened around her. We aren't eating, he interjected. A low subsonic growl adorned the rumble that soothed her nerves. Oh, then perhaps I may redirect you. I need to find Oz. Sir, I'm afraid I can't irk. The fox fiend had his left hand around the imp's throat and held him up to his face. His lip curled and the wriggler lashed about once behind him. That wasn't a request. His grip tightened and the imp gagged. Tell me where he is. Now. That way, door end of hall. The maitre d' pointed to the left with his right hand, while the other tried to pry himself free. He was dropped and Luna felt more eyes turn her way, even as she was guided from the now hacking imp. She looked away from the imp just as some Gosha bird turned in their seat to blow a cloud of something into the air. She burst through it and stumbled into Naruto. Luna. Terribly sorry, dear. My word. Look at these ghastly mutts. FFU. Luna glared and then collapsed into a fit of coughs. The other customers kept judging, watching, staring. She felt their eyes on her, the judgment, the disappointment. Watching, waiting. A squawk made her look up to see Naruto snarling at the Gosha with glowing white eyes. A hint of light dimmed at the center of his forehead. She was helped to her feet by her boyfriend and ushered along with him. F stuck up. Hate this stupid F ring. His growling became incoherent and the air felt tight. Luna let her tail curl around her legs. There was something tight wrapped around her body, a vice in her chest and sudden, impossible heat. She whimpered as the heat coursed through her veins. She needed it to stop. Naruto pulled her into a small alcove in the hall. He nuzzled his face against hers, rumble at full blast, claws gently grazing her sides, all while one of them, maybe both, whined. As she huffed thick breaths of air, his scent prominent amongst it, and dug claws into her sides, he whispered rapidly at her. "I'm here. We're here. I'm sorry, I'm here." He huffed thick inhales of her neck, her scent, and kissed his way back to her lips. Another embrace and then another brought her out of the tightness. The heat around her body lessened, but she felt it near, on the cusp of rendering her again near immobile with its overbearing presence. "Wha?" Luna growled in fear, confusion, pain. Her body was on fire. It itched and burned beneath the skin. She tried to pull away. He didn't stop her, didn't force her to stay, and unbearable heat was on her again. She dove back to him and whined. Her claws went to his neck, jaw, to guide him down. She needed it. Him. Their euphoria. Boop. Tranquility overcame them both. Luna felt tension bleed from his body and air came to her at a steadier pace. The fire cooled, quelled, and she'd feel less if she pushed for more. "I hate this ring." He growled the words with his nose touched to hers. She hummed, reached up and pulled him into another embrace. Yes, cooler still. His eyes squeezed shut, and he whined as he reciprocated before it turned into another growl that made her lips tingle. Stop, please, Luna." She stopped with her own whine, now held at arm's length as their breathing steadied again. Naruto had his eyes closed and snarl bared, looked good, smelled amazing. The fire started again. Why am I boiling?" she groaned and grabbed at her stomach. His touch was scalding and soothing all at once. She wanted his arms around her again, his mouth on hers, her mouth on his. The rumble, a boop, something, anything. Furomo, a lust drag. The F. She'd never heard of it. Her confusion must be evident despite his closed eyes, because he shook his head. Enhance his feelings, all of them. Hellhounds shouldn't ingest it, it's too much. Ozzy rarely supplies it for bees parties, if the occasion fits, but it's extremely diluted. I can handle it, then, but raw everything else. It's F suffocating. Air's too sour, making me F sick. Can't even enjoy, we gotta get to Ozzy. Ozzy? You mean, Asmodeus? Yeah? Naruto grit his teeth. He growled and pulled her into another one-armed embrace. She felt her tail wag and once more leaned against him. She took in his scent, the fire quelled, and he just smelled so effing goo. Luna. Her teeth lowered from where they nearly kissed his spot. Right. Drags. It was the drags. But she didn't have the drags before they got here, and he'd riled her up pretty good then, too. The drags just gave her the fire, and she wanted that fire doused. Needed it doused. Sorry. It's fine. Come on. Ozzy's office was as lavish and gaudy as the rest of his restaurant. The giant, flaming rooster was at his desk, his 3 heads tilted back within their feathered flamed head, and a hand tapped atop the fine wood. They all grinned and seemed to have eyes closed. Oz, Naruto barked to get the Sin's attention. Luna's insistent nips were starting to get to him. Her sweet vanilla scent completely drowned out by the FBN that was definitely not lust or lust adjacent. Another half embrace, half assault on his jaw had him stop to push Luna down. No, Luna, please. You taste so good. Her lips caught his and he went with it for a moment. F, you taste good too, no, SHT. He pushed her down with a snarl, ignored the weird, not angry growl she sent back, and held her at arm's length. No, Luna, please, behave. Asmodeus. Who the F? Oh, SHT. The Sin's roar died into shock before he squirmed in his seat. He leaned back in his seat again, looked down at his okay. Well, Naruto could guess what was going on there. The Sin hissed something and then readjusted himself. He pulled himself from the chair behind the desk and rose up with arms extended. Naru baby, it's been too long. Yeah, great to see you, too. We got hit with Furomo, antidote, please. The fox fiend groaned as his gorgeous girlfriend pressed against him. Her claws were thankfully too obsessed with trying to latch onto his head or neck to force an embrace rather than diving for his painfully obvious erekton that throbbed against his thigh. Antidote? Six eyes blinked. Naruto glared at him. Yes, that. Hate to break it to you, kiddo, but there's no antidote. The F do Luna. Seriously, not now. He snarled at her, and her FBN scent was tinged by fear as she flinched back. He flared his nostrils as he calmed and scented her. He closed his eyes and pulled her into a hug that she eagerly embraced. I'm sorry. Just please, try to resist it. But, Luna, just later, okay? Whatever. She grumbled into his neck, her claws traced along his back. Her tail had a half-hearted swish before it stilled. Naruto would groan if he wasn't glaring daggers at his uncle. He could deal with that after he got rid of the drags in their system. What do you mean there's no antidote? He growled. Ozzy crossed his arms and chuckled. I mean just that. You gotta ride this one out, Naru baby. He walked forward and clapped a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Let me guess, you're both close to ripping each other's clothes off, right? You think this is funny? He hissed, glaring daggers at the grinning trinity of heads. Luna will kill me if something happens while we're drugged. And if she doesn't, her F-dad will. And if he doesn't, B might. B would be a F-hypocrite of the worst kind if she did that. Ozzy deadpanned. He rubbed Naruto's shoulder. Look, kid, your best bet is to just ride the heat out. You both made it. What? 5 minutes without getting it on? 6. Luna grumbled as she started nipping at his neck. One of her claws dug into his back and damn it, he liked this shirt. Ozzy laughed. Ooh, listen to that. That's a she-hound in heat. You'd better help her take care of it. I am not having sec under the F influence of your drag, Naruto snarled, eyes ablaze and oculi sprouting. His nose was whapped, and he flinched away. Oh, the SHT. You don't have to have sec, dipshit. Ozzy smirked and started guiding them from the door. You made it 6 minutes without getting randy, right? Most hounds can't withstand 30 seconds of a full dose. SHT, B herself couldn't take 2 minutes. Your resilience is admirable, but she will combust if you don't do something. Do something. Make her orgasm. Oh, why couldn't Naruto just light himself on fire and end this torment? He muttered uncertainties under his breath. What if this wasn't what she wanted? What if he wasn't good enough? What if she didn't want him after, and they were stopped outside a closed set of doors? His uncle cackled as he opened the door. You are just too effing cute, kid, he said. This beach is literally rubbing all over you, just shy of humping that slab of meat in your pants, and you think she's not interested? Furomo doesn't boost emotions, Naru baby, but it lowers inhibitions. What's that mean? Naruto asked as Luna tugged on his jowls with a whine. He growled at her, but didn't tear away lest he get another cut. She made her weird, not angry growl back. Let me put it this way, if a 15-year sober alcoholic had a normal day, then took in some Furomo, that 15-year streak would be broken. Ozzy smiled. And like I said, if you don't want to have sex, don't. But this girl, this cute little pup, she wants you. Furomo is just making it easier for her to express that by forcing her body into heat. And judging by the whines and wee-wee, the pheromones she's radiating, she really wants you. But it quotas ... it quotas all it's... Look, I don't know why you're arguing about this. Just trust me, I know lust better than you. He gestured to the open room. A grand bedchamber was within. A hand grabbed onto his back. This is CNSNS, it's wanted. She's interested. You're interested. You're locking us in that room until the drag wears off, aren't you? Naruto's tail wriggled. Excitement? Anticipation? He couldn't say. The vibes in the air were just full of FBN and Luna. His sense and senses were nearly useless. Yep. Ozzy grinned and gave him a shove. Naruto stumbled forward and twisted so he hit the bed frame and Luna didn't. The door slammed shut with a bang. He glared at the door. But later is now. LMMPH, her lips captured his and the protest died in the collision. Unable to run from this, the dubious advice from Ozzy at the forefront of his mind, and his own body begging to relieve the strain on it, Naruto let himself fall into the embrace. No boop, no build-up. Romantic or not, he didn't care. His BLD boiled and his mind redirected all priority measures to focus on two things: make him feel good and make her feel better. Her breath was hot, and her scent intoxicating. He couldn't resist if he wanted to. A tongue pushed against his lips, smaller, thinner, wet, sweet, and danced over his teeth. A request for entrance. Granted 1,000 times over. Their tongues quarreled in a playful dance. His larger and inexperienced organ matched her lithe and talented one due to sheer tenacity. This challenge of tongues only flooded his third brain with more longing for the hound straddled atop him. Tastes so good. She growled as the first bout ended. Her teeth claimed his lip as a prize before she released it. He growled back at her, wordless agreement, as his claws rested at her waist. Her claws, which had clung to his head and shoulders, suddenly tore into his shirt, rid him of its obstruction, and then the sour vibe of lust was suppressed. Luna's claws traced over the patch of peach-colored fur, and he shuddered at the chill that overcame him. All of the peach fur in your coat isn't natural. Not a question, not an observation, a fact. Scars. He agreed softly. A soft rumble started as she pushed her hand into it. The splayed fingers and claws curled into a fist. Her eyes met his. You're not a sinner. That was probably supposed to be a question. But I was 12. I'd killed before. I was killed. I started here. It was rather obvious where he ended. More ninja SHT, she smirked. He chuckled and nodded. More ninja SHT. A soft huff, a laugh, before her lips came down to meld with his. Not as desperate or hungry, more comfortable, understanding, expressive. Their smirks became smiles, their scents happy, the vibes were good. Her claws tangled with the ruff on his chest, his dug into her hips. Those curvy hips started to grind against him. His stiff, strong rod painfully reminded him of its existence with a throb. His smile fell, and he whimpered against her lips. She growled, the embrace broke, and she pushed her nose to his. Boop had him focus, but the throb tore him from euphoria with another whine. No, none of that SHT. She pulled back and took his hand, urging him to join her upright again. He was on his feet for a second before he was shoved back onto the bed. Anyone else would be dead, then and there, the amount of force used to get him off of his feet. Not her. Her intent was his pleasure, he was 78% sure of it. SHH, relax. Luna crooned as she crawled over him again. Her tail wagged like a flag. Her shirt was gone, and he was granted the sight of her bare chest firm, rounded, and both were pierced. He should have expected that, but that's still stereotyping. Did it hurt, or? Her finger traced along his muzzle and derailed all thought before her lips pressed to his again. Derail? No, that train crashed. This embrace was quick, a spice in the vibe that accompanied it, before she started to trail more down his muzzle. Hot, rapid breaths parted his coat and intermediated the kisses. Her claws traced the contour of his chest until she came to his shorts. The button was flicked away, and her nimble teeth tugged the zipper down. This was the moment of truth. Verasika stopped where she was trying on a risque lingerie outfit and suddenly glared out toward the store's entrance. Something was wrong. Something had upset the natural order. Something ... involving a PP she wanted. Her eyes went wide. That beach, she isn't. Verasika tore from the changing room, half-dressed and not in the slightest bit decent, only to get caught by Tex and shoved back in. What the F are you doing? I'm going to commit F murder. No, you're F not. We've already got enough legal issues. V. Unholy FSHT, Luna breathed. The fire in her caused by, emphasized by, the fire was quelled and reignited simultaneously. Before her was not the largest PP she'd seen. Pawn exists in hell, people. Calm down. A strong phallus that was spaciously barbed, hardened pockets of flesh that were akin to dulled tooth rather than actual spines some could have. The PP was a deep burgundy red, much darker than the BLD that flowed through it, and so hot there was a slight amount of steam she could see wafting off of it. There was a hefty girth that her clawed digits could not encircle in one hand, she knew for a fact. She was trying right now, and while she could get a hand around it, it was a strain on her grip and a fine length that might very possibly give her some trouble depending on her otter's depth. That went without mentioning the almost deflated bulb at the base of the PP. She stared at it, trying to identify its purpose. Not the TSTCLS, those were nice and full just a bit further south. He must be nervous because he cleared his throat. Yeah, there's an I have. A knot. She was familiar, had watched a few videos where Stars Across Hell took one. The challenge of it was enticing. She pushed her nose to the flesh and took in the musky twinge that slightly altered the violet and almost coconut scent she attributed to her boyfriend. She felt her own core's fire, more bearable than before, start up again. It was him, the base of him, his scent, his PP, the thing that would be inside her. Luna loved it already. She let her eyes drift past the phallus in front of her to the foxfiend that was watching her. Blue eyes clouded, yet focused on her. Tense. The wriggler still. Tesk, that wouldn't do. I think this will work. Her hand encircled around his girth best it could, and slowly she pulled her wrist up, as she gave the yet inflated knot a gentle embrace. A silent promise, an assurance. Oh ho Luna! The wine was adorable, but the buck of his hips was going to ruin her plans, if not hurt one of them. That was counterproductive. Naruto. She sounded his name out and pulled her mouth away from the toy she'd be playing with. She gave the tip an embrace before she pushed on his hips and advanced up again, visually devouring the strained, excited, confused gleam in his eyes and the way his lips wanted to curl. Her claws couldn't hold on to the phallus and allow her to reach his head-damned shorter stature and arms, so she let her tail tease it. It wanted to participate, so she let it swish, swish, swish. Luna. He whimpered, a sound that made her core burn with want, as she put her lips to his. His claws sought her melons and so carefully caressed them. The piercings in the nipples were nudged and twisted so deliciously slow. Curious, careful, playful. She soon started to whimper and whine back in time with his own. No, Naruto. She broke another embrace and another and again before finally she cradled his head in her claws. Red stared into blue. Nose pressed to nose. Boop. Breathing steadied. Grabby hands fell from two now colder melons. Had to deal with that later. I want to try. Try? Not. Ugh. For all the talk about F-Hell was full of, why was Luna having an issue with it now? Not? His ears shot straight up and his eyes dilated. No. She kissed his nose around a smile and he calmed. The look that crossed his face just now was hysterical, thank F no one could see them. She got to treasure that all for herself. Now, though, came the worst part. Her ears burned a painful flare as they folded back. No. I want you to snap my collar. Huh? Luna explained the longing to Naruto, and the important thing is, he eventually got what she was asking. Yeah, it took 3 times for her to explain it, but that's not a big deal, right? What? There were 2 things that kept distracting him, 2 very important things. Luna's right melons and Luna's left melons. They were very needy and very clearly neglected. He'd have to insist on more time with them later. First, he'd let her indulge this, collar snap thing, so he sat on the edge as she told him to. Why was she kneeling on the ground? What was she doing with her mo? Oh, right, FLLT, oral, mouth, right? Yes, he did remember that being a thing, and an unexpected error has occurred. So hot, so thick, so tasty. Luna hummed and pulled her tongue back from where it had been lathering the PP. She gave it another embrace at the tip before she pulled away. Her eyes looked up and met his gaze. Remember what I said. You won't be mad if I say no, will you? I might bite if you mess up. Yep, I remember. Wow, do I remember. Funny. She smirked and brushed some hair out of her face. She opened her mouth as wide as it could go and lowered her head down before she captured him within. Her lips sealed and she descended. OF. Yes, music to her ears. The wriggler was abusing the bed behind him. Her own excitement was evident by her tail's constant swish, 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 swish. Claws parted her hair and her eyes went wide as a firm grip took hold of her head. Her chest felt like it was going to explode. She gushed as he pushed. Her eyes closed as he started to drag her back up. She focused on her breathing. Grab my head and force me down to the base, then pull me back up. Use me like a fleshlight. Her throat strained and she panted around it. The bed creaked, her eyes cracked open. Why was he standing Yeah, that was too strong. She smacked his thigh. He stopped and F. He used the growl. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, SHT. Yes, that was better. Good. Sweet merciful F. He was a fast learner. Her claws dipped into her drenched shorts and she played with herself, 2 fingers off the bat. She was that wet. Luna, he was moaning her name. Hers. F. That's so hot. Yes, baby, please yes, keep saying it. She thought as something around her neck strained and the last of her fingers slid into her PP. She whimpered and her tail wagged on full blast, even as her jaw worked overtime to stay ajar enough to wait. The knot. SHD. She forgot about the knot. It swelled in her mouth. Baseball, softball size, easy. Huge, too big. Babe? Naruto? Air was needed. SHT. F. SHT. Her throat hurt. Her eyes watered. Come on, hang in there, Luna. 2 things happened. First, her collar snapped. Mission accomplished. Great job, everyone. Second, Naruto roared, holy F. What the hell was that sound that came out of her boyfriend's mouth? No, wait. 3 things happened. The third thing was a near drowning experience. Luna knows it was near drowning because she woke up sometime later, on the bed, curled into a spooning position with Naruto behind her. One of his arms wrapped around her flat stomach, the other fell shy of a perfect circle draped over her hip. She burped and tasted his essence on her tongue. It was sweet, it could be sweeter. Yuck, ooh, husky, sleepy fox fiend in her ear, best asthma. Yeah, hey, why is he turning her head? Oh, a embrace? For Luna? Yes, please. And hurt? He asked, after it broke apart. Sore. Her throat was sore. She was a little thirsty. Never mind. She's good. Horny? Oh, right, the drags. The drags that enhanced her feelings, or lowered her inhibitions, or something. Nah. She snuggled back into him and held the wrist of the arm that rested around her stomach. Her eyes fell shut as her thumb traced shapes into the orange fur. Another embrace pressed into her cheek, and she hummed. She fulfilled a SXL fantasy. She has a loving partner. She has a job that didn't demand a lot of her. Luna's life was nearly perfect. If only she had her phone. Oh yeah, kai chika chika, oh yeah, kai chika chika, oh yeah, kai chika chika one. God damn it, she whined. Naruto grumbled. Let's... Yes, she groaned. He snorted. FM. Well, that was a great idea. Luna decided to go with it. 2 weeks passed since that blissful day in Lust. With the Furomo purged from their system and Blitzo's drunken sobbing rant of a voicemail deleted. The audacity of him. Luna and Naruto spent the rest of the evening with Asmodeus, who talked them through what they'd done, and advised them how to continue to avoid future incidents as intense as the snapped collar was. Part of that included Luna growled as she turned a page in the textbook distance. You've both been all over each other, and that's great. But since you didn't hit that Homer sin of lust, I can tell, just take it easy. Take a step back. Think about what you feel, and make sure it's not a passing fling. You'd be surprised how many couples down here get to the first year and start having doubts. Start looking for more. The massive sin grinned and winked with 3 of his eyes. Besides, there's that old saying, absence makes the lust grow stronger. End of the day, it's up to you too. It's just advice, heed it or don't. They talked about it when Asmodeus stepped out to handle some pressing business. She was, well, not okay with the idea, but open to it. There were the magic textbooks she got that she hadn't touched in a week or so. The lightning magic she saw in action was badass, and were it not for his issue with using it, Luna would ask her boyfriend for help. Naruto also seemed leery of Asmodeus' advice, but admitted he needed to actually build up his business so he didn't impose on Tex's gig. Not that Luna thought Verisica or B would mind. The former for more chances to jump her boyfriend, and the latter clearly had some kind of issue with him being on his own. Luna had an idea, but she didn't want to blatantly accuse a sin of something. Best case scenario, she's right and gets eradicated. Worst case scenario, she's wrong and gets eradicated. B's favorite pretty pup or not, she didn't like those odds, but Naruto had goals he needed money to achieve. In the end, they decided to go back to texts and phone calls, and maybe the occasional coffee meetup at Hotheads if it could be managed. Thus far, they've managed the last just once, on the Sunday after their romp in Lust. So, here she was, at work early enough that Blitzo would still be preoccupied with his own morning routine. That left her free to get a latte and read about how to properly meld one's demonic core energy. It was way more complicated than it needed to be. Focusing on the physical and mystical power that was centered within her pool was difficult when her mind kept wandering to her boyfriend's job hunt, her boss dad's annoying tendencies, the updates on Voxtagram, and "Mornin' Luna, ugh." Millie was way too chipper as she came in. At least Fatty understood her struggle, given the absolute drag he had in his posture. Her ear twitched as a scent wafted from them and her eyes narrowed. Weird, how was it that Fatty smelled more like lube than you? Don't misunderstand, more power to Millie and all that for topping, but she didn't need to know that about their sex life. Best not let anything slip. Sup? Blitz in yet? I gotta ask him about my request for Harvest Moon. Nope. Luna flicked a page over and arched a brow. Training the body past natural limitations increases mystical aptitude? I might have to ask Naruto for advice on that. What you're readin'? Raw sh, Luna jerked and snarled at the giggling imp that was sitting on the corner of her desk. Don't effin' do that, DMN. Oh, that is one o' them fancy beginner's dark mystic books, right? Does it have a centerfold in it? She grinned. Why, well, no, Millie. It doesn't have a centerfold in it. Luna rolled her eyes. Not that she'd be interested in that, maybe. It depended on the model they chose. Then, what are you reading it for? Oh, Fatty seemed to decide it was time for him to join in on the conversation. To learn, dumbass. But hellhounds can't use magic. Both imps tilted their heads. The were they being serious? Luna growled at them. Who the do you think has been operating your portals? That's the grimoire. Fatty crossed his arms. It's a focus. Even imps can use it. Probably why you have a human disguise, too, since that's the lowest and easiest form of magic. Do you have a human disguise? Luna snarled. That's neither here nor there. He looked away with his arms crossed. The perk of our job is to utilize our hellborn status to drive fear into the hearts of... No, you don't. Thought so. She scoffed and went back to her book. There was a diagram that had several hand gestures to utilize as a focus. One-handed magic. Yes, a simple exercise. Luna lifted her left hand as she looked over the instructions. One hand upright, bend 90 degrees at wrist, turn toward face, back upright with palm to target. Curl claw to palm, index and middle claws triangulate to thumb, curl together to touch tips then spread and... A small, bright white light flickered into existence. It was a smoky little wisp, a non-sentient construct of pure magic. Thin, barely perceptible strings of energy connected it to the tips of her curled claws. Luna grinned at the little thing that she'd made and began to experiment. Moving her claws didn't do more than tug on the strings, but it seemed content to try and remain in the middle. Pinching the claws together collapsed the wisp, and she felt thirsty. She smirked at Fatty, whose jaw was now on the floor. I'm sorry, what SHT were you saying? Hellhounds can't. That shouldn't. There's never been, He flopped to the floor in a dead faint. Serves him right. Unholy SHT, Millie mumbled. Wait until Blitz hears about this. As if on cue, the head butt in charge kicked the door to the office open and grinned like a madman. I've got a well-paying job and we're all needed to do it. Yesterday. Get off your lazy fat butt. Mox, we got an old rich effer to kill. Oh, sweet, maybe she could arrange another coffee meetup. Most rich humans tended to have guards, and they took a hot second for the idiots to mow through. Before she could pull her phone out to message her boyfriend, Blitzo pointed at Luna. Looney, pack the magic book, because you're coming along, too. What? Oh, this had to be a joke. Bad one at that. She snorted and went back to her studying. Not happening. Luna. Got him at what? No, he actually looked serious. He crossed his arms and leaned forward with an arched brow. If you ever did get serious with someone, what did we agree to? Serious? Why no. No, are you kidding me? Luna shot to her feet. Her claws dropped the book from her hands and tore into her reception desk. That arrangement came up way back when I first moved in. And it stood as a house rule ever since. You can't be serious, she snarled. He smirked. As serious as a door sock. The imp leaned back and examined his nails. If either of us got serious with someone, to promote a healthy relationship, we'd take 1 day a month and do some father-daughter bonding for the entire day. Written, signed, and sealed in BLD. I think that I legitimately hate you, Blitzo. She growled as her tail went limp in defeat. He grinned. All the more reason for this forced family fun. Now grab your SHT. We got an old guy to knock over before Father Time beats us to it. Elderly millionaire Lyle Lipton sighed as the forces of heaven and hell argued in his room. All he wanted to do was die. He had no family, no heirs, his money would be absolved by the banks and distributed accordingly, trickle-down economics, and all in his body just didn't want to keep going. He tried suicide, but 3 little angels came in to stop him. Then came the demons. Was this a drag-induced hallucination? A last message from God? Elsewhere, at the restaurant at the end of the universe, a 4-eyed, well-dressed individual suddenly stopped mid-sip of wine and burst into laughter. When it dwindled down to giggles, they took another sip of wine. They lowered the glass of wine in their hand and smiled at the barkeep. "Hey, Hey," they said to him around a snicker. "Do you want to hear a hilarious joke?" Regardless, Lyle Lipton was certain he wanted it to end. If only so that he could make his 8-inch PP and PRSDT work again. The only one that had no input on the matter was a growling gray hellbeast of some kind that stood in the corner of the room, glaring at something in her hand. She or a very curvy, he was Lyle's favorite thus far. F the rest of the world and focus on herself. Great attitude, he supported it. There's so much he can do with his life. Oh, what a crock. The big possum-like imp pointed at Lyle. That old shithead is seconds away from keeling over. Either step up and give him some fountain of youth SHT or step aside and we can end his suffering. Wow, sir. That's a rather positive twist for you. Moxie, shut the F up, loony. The hellbeast looked up with a sigh. What? Kill this effer so we can go home. Finally, merciful death at the hands of a appealing creature OF. Those were some sharp claws. This was going to hurt, if only his PP worked right now. No, we won't let you. Lyle sighed as the cherubs swooped in and carried him out of the way at the last moment. He was set astride the precariously unbalanced wardrobe his father hand carved many years ago. He'd meant to get it fixed, but well, it was a costly endeavor that he never found worth pursuing. You'll just unleash a hellhound on this poor, old soul? Seriously? How low do the imps of hell fall? The yellow lamb asked, clearly aghast and disgusted with the demons. As low as we need to go to get paid, dipshit, Mox, Mills, Formation F that one thing in particular. The tall imp drew 2 pistols and took aim at Lyle, who held his arms open, ready for the end. The smaller duo ran from either of his sides toward him, the white cat with a rifle and the black one with a massive F-off axe. Yes, sir. You got it, Blitz. No, no, no. Heaven's plans for Lyle Lipton are too important. Heaven's plans? The yellow and black sheep looked at their leader Clem. Lyle stopped caring. He just wanted it to be over. You didn't hear that? Sounds to me like it's all the more reason to off this shithead. The possum cackled as he fired round after round at them. One grazed the black sheep's wing and he dropped. No, Colin. The cherub hit the ground with a sickening thud, but rose with a groan. A wing dropped golden BLD on the floor. SHT. The leader hissed. Lyle would have asked why, if he didn't see a smoke start on the wood flooring he imported from his childhood home, the same flooring that was in his parents' room. A symbol that resembled a pinwheel swirled into existence, and a crimson circle rose up from it. It expanded and then exploded, knocking the demons and hellbeast back. From where the lamb stood, now holding him was a pale man in a dark suit, with feathery black hair. The lamb in his arms trembled as the man stared down at him. Oh, who the F is this, now? The possum asked with a scowl as he shoved the lamp shade off of his head. R.R. Rackwell. The lamb, Colin, stammered. Rackwell. Both the cherubs holding Lyle up dropped him back onto his father's unsteady wardrobe and clung to each other. Rackwell? The 2 small demons repeated while the hellbeast pulled herself out from beneath the mattress that slammed into her. Rachel? Not exactly my first guess. The tall demon scratched his horns with his pistol. He shrugged and gave a toothy grin as he took aim at the man. Well, unlike you holier-than-thou F, I don't discriminate. Eat lead, Rachel. The bullets pierced through Raquel Rachel. 2 visible bloody holes appeared in his shoulder and chest respectively. Raquel Rachel looked at the injured cherub, then at the demon, then at Lyle's precarious position. Seeing his eyes, those endless kaleidoscopes, Lyle's own widened. Dr. Uchiha, he whispered, seeing the nobleman that had come to visit his mother on her deathbed all those years ago looking exactly the same. How? Lipton. Dr. Uchiha nodded at him and then set the small angel lamb down. Oh, if seriously? Can't you angelic effers see we're trying to kill this guy? The taller demon asked around a snarl. Dr. Uchiha looked at him and then gestured at the hole in his shoulder. You need to work on your aim. Witty as ever. The demon disagreed and fired more rounds into Dr. Uchiha. They, like the first 2, passed through and left him riddled with holes and BLD. Dr. Uchiha sighed and gestured at his damaged person. That wasn't an invitation, imp. He investigated the holes in his person with a frown. Tesk, I liked this suit. It fit well. Luna, if you kill him, you can go home. F. Finally, the Hellbeast Hellhound snarled and rushed at Dr. Uchiha. A mistake, really, for the good doctor was not a medical specialist. Nor was he an academic in the traditional sense. He was a doctor of the occult. A last resort his father called in to cure his mother. A resort that led nowhere. A crack and a yelp was followed by a crash. Apparently, he was also a martial artist, judging by the flawless judo hip toss that sent the Hellbeast through his wall. Sir, I don't think this guy is an angel. The white cat mused. Who gives a F what he is? Let's kill him so we can kill our target and go home. Lipton is a target? Dr. Uchiha asked. He looked at Lyle, who met his gaze. You are aware of this. I welcome it, sir. I've been alive too long. Wait, Mr. Lipton, don't. The small angel called out to him. Very well. Dr. Uchiha held his hand up and pinched his fingers together. Goodbye, Lipton. Goo. He burned before the word finished, and then he fell. Raquel, you just murdered that man? The humanoid cherub screamed at him. Sasuke glanced at the sobbing little angel, then looked back at the charred corpse that was once a rotund child, not understanding why his mother was dying. No, he asked me to end his suffering, and so I did. Do you not care that your companion is injured? He gestured at the lamb trying to crawl away from his side. The Sharingan swirled and his movement slowed. He might recover if you take him back to heaven. Sira, save us. The golden lamb whimpered and clung to the humanoid. Sasuke almost smirked. Almost. Sira cannot save you. Sira cannot intervene. Sira doesn't care. Liar, the little boy cherub cried. He glared at Sasuke, who arched his brow to invite this debate. She cares. She cares about all of us. Is that right? Is that what she told you? Or is that what God told you? The cherubs froze. Sasuke closed his eyes and sighed. As I thought. You know nothing of what the divine plans, or the purpose behind your institution. It's to protect and promote redemption and goodwill amongst man. Ugh, barf, the imp with 2 pistols groaned. Sasuke never agreed with a hellborn more on something. That wasn't what I meant. I wasn't speaking of your little acronym, Sasuke said dryly. He shook his head. This is a waste of my time. I only came here because angelic BLD spilled upon one of my seals. I will only ask again, do you wish to save your friend? Cletus, the golden lamb tugged at the boy's arm. Sasuke watched it, and instead of a lamb, he saw a girl with pink hair and a blonde boy. They trembled and cowered, and his shadow, his shade, that of a serpent, covered them. His eyes narrowed and flashed red. You've taken too long. Your decision is made for you. A golden gate opened at the ceiling and a powerful wind sucked the cherubs in. He huffed when the gate closed with a clang. Nothing new for the pawns of heaven. What the F just happened? Sasuke turned to see the tall imp still staring at him. The golden flintlock pointed his way. What the F did you do to those little shitnuggets? Why the F did you kill my target? Oh, and again, who the F are you? I forget how curious the living are. Sasuke muttered before he smiled and unfolded his 6 dark wings. The imp's eyes bulged and the other two gasped. In order, you completed your contract. I sent the angels home. I answered his request and finally, I am the angel of vengeance, Rakwal the fallen justice, the sixth watcher of Ihu, and last of the Uchiha. I understood about a third of what the F he just said. Anyone F get any of that SHT? The imp asked. Sasuke rolled his eyes. Typical Hellborn. He shifted, and in a blink held the imp aloft and tightened his hand around its neck. The imp choked. Gak, F, fast, KNKYFR. Take me to dinner first, at least. Why is everything always a sec thing? Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Wait. I know you. You were at the beach. Come to think of it. His eyes widened as he turned toward the sound of creaking wood and the rumbling growl with it. A smile spread across his face, and he tossed the imp aside to face the hellhound crawling through the hole she'd made moments before. I thought you looked familiar. Effin' creep. The hellhound growled. She tumbled through the hole and charged at him on all fours. Huh, that's nostalgic. He backed away and sidestepped her clawed slashes. Each one made his smile grow wider and wider. It reminded him of that day, the day that changed everything. The day where he achieved his goal and lost it all over again. Instead of a hellhound, he saw a red-shrouded boy. A friend. His best friend. Clarity struck like a stab. An overreaching slash was caught at the wrist. He closed his eyes. That's enough, Sasuke muttered. He opened his eyes and glared into the eyes of the hellhound. She froze, her other hand in mid-swing, caught in his hypnotic gaze. A second and he ended it, tossing her away and causing her to crash through the door. You're not what I'm looking for. You're nothing. Luna, keep your hands off of my daughter, you. This farce is over. You overstay your welcome, Hellborn, Sasuke snarled at him as black fire spread from his feet to encase the room. All of you, back to hell. The imps and hellhound were sent down. Sasuke remained alone in the house until the last block burned to ash. He looked up at the cloudless sky, and his lips curled up. And now, the board is set. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 6. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author BonesBoy15 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.